Hello, and welcome to Hello Sister, a Vampire Diaries podcast with a magical twist.
We're your hosts, Christina Rosso-Schneider
and Brenna Dinon. Christina, how are you doing today?
Oh my God, I am doing great. First off, long time no see, because we, for those of you who listened to last week's episode, we literally recorded the second and last episode of this season back to back. So I was just here.
Yeah, mere hours ago.
Mere hours ago. So fun, but I'm doing great. I'm so excited that we're here for our final episode of season 1.
This was just a faint dream, like a mere year and change ago, like when we first were kind of joking about it. And like, here we are doing this last episode. It's going to make me emotional. I'm feeling emotional. It's like, it's crazy because it's like the end of just season 1, and we have so many more exciting seasons to explore, but it's a milestone, and you all know at this point now, we all love a celebration, and we love celebrating any milestones, any and all milestones, if you will.
Yes.
So this one feels like a big one for us.
It is a big one. I mean, we did this totally for fun, as a dream, as kind of a project that we were like, let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
And here we are all of these months later, right? We've been recording since the beginning of the year.
We have.
So almost 8, since we started recording, 8 months.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of what we've done, and it's just been such a treat. It's been so much fun.
Yeah.
And I truly love spending all of this time with you and Dwight and your cats.
I love that you are here spending time with us too, even the times that we spend with Alex when we're doing other things as well, because it's just, I don't know, it brought our friendship, I think, to a whole new level.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Truly a sisterly level, dare I say.
Oh, yes.
And I love working with you as a creative partner. We have such we're very different people. We do things very differently, but somehow the way that we fit together just works in a way that I think is really special. And I know, I'm gonna cry too. Guys, it's literally just the end of season 1. We literally have an entire show to go. But
and maybe spin-offs.
If people are interested. But no, it's hard to be a creative partner with somebody, especially someone that you're close to who's a friend, and there's always a risk there. And you know what? I couldn't have imagined this unfolding better than it has.
I agree. And I love you so much. And I mean, I was never worried that doing this podcast would change us.
Yeah.
But I think it actually has changed us, but that we are connected on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And we initially met and connected at an open mic as creatives.
Yeah. So
it feels very full circle in that way. And we finally have gotten to start working on something together after almost 8 years of knowing each other.
It's really, really special. And we started our friendship with talking into microphones, reading creative work. And here we are still talking into microphones, reading creative work.
I love that.
Not the only full circle thing we'll call out today, because I do have something in my hot takes that's related to kind of a full circle thing. But we're doing it. We're here. I guess we should probably do some program reminders.
Yeah, well, first we need to show everyone our shirt, everyone who's watching.
Yes,
so
we'll lightly
these were gifts from Brenna for my birthday, and I have a Stefan shirt, of course.
And I've got a Damon shirt, and boy, is it relevant for this episode, setting up for what's to come in the future of this series.
It absolutely is. And for anyone who just listens, and I don't want to put it as just listens, but anyone who listens and doesn't watch, don't worry. We will be posting photos so you can see the shirts in real time.
Yeah. Same thing with all of our paraphernalia that we have gifted each other, because we both literally had the same ideas when we were gifting each other birthday things over this. And our birthdays are so close, as you all now know. So we literally just have a bunch of Vampire Diaries merch between the two of us.
Yeah. So we're planning a specific post that will come out probably during our little break before
Yeah.
season 2, which we'll talk about season 2 in just a second. And so you'll get to see all of the fun gifts that we've been giving each other and have been talking about.
Yeah. And we're still, it's a crime against humanity that there aren't Team Stefan and Team Damon
But
shirts.
we're planning to rectify that. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, because we are. But yeah, well, I think you mentioned what our little. Do you want to talk about our little our mini hiatus, if you will?
Yeah. So we will be. We won't have any new episodes for about a month. Season 2 is going to launch on September 8th. And we picked this date because season 2 of the show started airing on September 9th. So sticking to our Tuesday schedule, but trying to, it'll be really exciting for us to record season 2 in time with the season that the characters are experiencing in the show. So we're really excited about that. And we will, you can use the break to catch up on old episodes, maybe tune into the spoiler-sodes if you haven't been listening to them. But we're also going to still be doing Fangs Out Friday every week. We have some fun posts. Like we talked about in the last episode that I've been tallying our fuck, marry, kills. So we've got some fun videos, some fun posts, just things that will be popping up over that time so that you don't forget about us.
Yeah, we're not going to let you forget, but we are going to take a break from doing full-length episodes because they are a labor of love, but they are labor, and we also want to take some time to reflect on just how our process has been and see what we can do to improve. And you know what? What's always so fun about that is, guess what? If you have any, things you want to share about thoughts and feelings, we're always open to it. I mean, within reason, but if you have any suggestions for us or things, we have a lot of ideas. Right now we're still so small and we're still finding our footing, so trust, we've got literally so many ideas, especially as we continue to grow, but feedback's always helpful, I feel.
Absolutely.
So if you want to do that, and I know this is jumping ahead just slightly, but Hello Sister Podcast 1864 at gmail.com. You can always email us there. We are on Instagram and Threads at Hello Sister Podcast. So obviously for our off-season content, you can go there. You can follow us on YouTube. I believe that we're going to also have that things that we are posting online. If they are YouTubeable, they'll be on YouTube as well for YouTube Shorts or whatever. So yeah, we're going to just take the time and reflect and see how we can come back bigger, better, badder.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much. And yeah, during our break, if you can just continue to share the podcast, subscribe, review, etc. It really helps us so much because we are still a new podcast and, we're growing every week, but it is, it's always kind of scary to take a mini break. But as Brenna was saying, we need to do it for ourselves to have a little rest, a little nap, if you will,
a little
vervain nap, if you will. But also we will then pretty soon be starting to dive back into recording for season 2 so that we have a bunch of content prepped for you come September.
Yeah, it might seem like weeks for you, but it will only probably be about a week or 2 week break for us, which is fine. But we love doing this, and that's, just supporting us is the best way to help us keep doing what we do. And also, as we always say, supporting Christina's shop at A Novel Idea, hiring us to read tarot together or separately, always helpful. Just shoot us a message. We are always happy to take those on. And I think that's it. I don't know if you didn't mention, we did not mention that yet, right? So
right.
good.
Yeah,
all
you're
right.
great.
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think we did. And I was just going to say, because we always promote my books, that by the time we come back for season 2, I probably soon after that will have pre-order information for The Last Sheaf. So we will, of course, because my book edits are due not too long into they're due in September. Okay. So a couple weeks into September is when they'll do. So I'll be finishing them up as the first episodes are coming out. But then from there, because it's slated for October 2027, I'll probably start getting a pub date and
I can't wait.
Start talking about cover, pre-order campaign, stuff like that, which of course I will share with all of you.
Of course. Also, another thing that we are thinking about, we haven't fully solidified yet, but we do have plans to maybe do another season a season kickoff party. So if you're in our area, the general Philadelphia area, or if you want to just come to Philly to visit, to come hang with us,
we'd love to have you.
We are brewing up another event that if folks are interested in, we might have. So, all right, I think that covers just about everything. Let's get into episode 22.
All right, let's get into episode 22, our season 1 finale called Founders Day. Feel like we've been waiting for Founders Day for a really long time.
We have had 70,000 events leading up to this one event.
And you know what? Actually, I feel like there somehow could have been room for more.
I actually feel like the Founders Day event is the most anticlimactic event that they've had so far.
If they took the tomb vampires out, they could have had room for another event.
Yeah, I agree. Because they really just, like, did a flow. I mean, I guess they had their parade, which was, like, fine.
It was 5 seconds long, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and also and they had fireworks, which, okay, fine. But, like, I don't even like fireworks that much.
Allegedly nothing in between.
No, it's just people walking around.
Yeah, I was confused. But anyway. All right, so episode 22 was directed by Marcos Siega and written by Brian O, so Brian with a Y, and Andrew Shablis, and it aired on May 13th, 2010. As always, we love to share the IMDb synopsis, so here it is for episode 22. Damon and Alaric try to stop John Gilbert from setting a plan in motion to bring Founders Day to an end amid chaos, destruction, and death.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, Damon and Alaric have like one scene together.
I know.
And it's so much further in. And it's Rick's not trying to do anything with Uncle John.
No.
He's literally just trying to help.
He's running interference so that Stefan doesn't get caught.
He's just pulling out the stakes in his vampire hunting kit.
Yeah.
Right. So but you know what? There is chaos, destruction, and death.
There is.
So
they got that right. Thank you, IMDb. Thank you for being with us all season. Can't wait to see what you have cooking for us for season 2. All right, we're getting into our opening scene. Oh my goodness. Okay. And this title is Past Reflections. We are at the Gilbert residence and the Salvatore boarding house. We open to our season 1 finale with Elena and Stefan both getting ready for Founders Day in their period-accurate outfits. Elena is intentionally shot to tease that we could possibly be back in time with Catherine until Elena says, "This hurts," as she puts on her necklace and Jenna assists her getting her into a corset. And Jenna just says, "Suck it in, baby." We get one last look at Stefan checking himself in the mirror before moving on to our next scene. And he's wearing his, like, period. I think he has a cravat on.
He does have a cravat on.
It's not as ugly as the cravat from the past.
No, it's definitely better. And, my only note with this is I love how they make us think we're in 1864. Yeah. It's really well done, and it's a fun start.
Yeah, it's a really fun, it's really putting us, those parallels are so strong, which have been being drawn all season. So, all right. So our next scene, I'm here to eat cotton candy and steal your girl. We're at Mystic Falls High. So as Wake Me Up by Ellie Goulding plays, everyone is preparing for the big Founders Day event at the high school. We have cheerleaders with banners, Battle of Willow Creek reenactors, the marching band, and the Historic Society, and a Founders float. Carol Lockwood is, of course, leading the charge. Stefan walks over to the hullabaloo and is met by Damon, who comments on his period-accurate outfit. Well, that's kind of hard to say in one, like,
it's a lot of words.
Accurate outfit being retro. Stefan questions his reasoning for being there, and Damon says, "Why wouldn't I be here? Bonnie deactivated the Gilbert invention. Isobel is gone, and it's Founders Day. I'm here to eat cotton candy and steal your girl." God, Stefan's not having it, obviously, and not having, like, Damon poking at him for the previous conversation they had last episode regarding Damon's feelings about Elena, and Stefan is, again, stern about them not having, history repeating itself, but Damon continues to joke about Stefan being jealous, but Stefan doesn't see the Damon humor in it, so...
Neither do I.
No. It's, but... Damon continues to needle on by saying he's the better, hotter, and superior choice to his brother, and remarks that Stefan is scared that now Catherine is out of the picture, that Damon's going to turn his attention to Elena. He tells his brother not to worry because Elena is not Catherine, and Stefan agrees that she's not, and he says it very grimly. And wouldn't you know it, just as the brothers agree on this, over walks Elena in her Founder's Day garb, looking an awful lot like Catherine. She spots the brothers, and both men are held by her gaze, especially Damon. She smiles and curtsies at them. Cue title card. My God. All right, so first thought is I know we haven't been like very consistent with the needle drops in the episodes, but the Ellie Goulding song is very much of the time. I really was a big Ellie. I mean, I still am. I just like don't follow her career that closely, but I feel like I really was into Ellie back then.
Oh, I was listening to her on repeat.
Yeah,
at this time.
Yeah, like it's just if
Starry Eyed was like. I mean, this was a great song too, but Starry Eyed was my song.
Yeah, she was amazing, and like at that time really felt it really just ports you right back. If you were there, so you also really
big
were Ellie girl.
Ellie Goulding girl.
Love. So all right, this is me, right? I think so. Okay, so Damon's just hiding his admiration for Elena. Like, obviously he's deflecting as he's like making jokes about hitting on Elena, but this show is not being subtle anymore. Not that it ever really was. And as we said in the last episode, this is always where this was headed, because this show is literally marketed as a love triangle between two brothers and a young woman. So here we are. We're here. We're getting into the love triangle is triangulating.
It is triangulating. And also, I just have to say that even though the brothers are like, Elena's not Catherine, her knowing smile at the brothers is actually so Catherine.
So Catherine?
I mean, she looks so cute, and
she does.
She looks beautiful, but it is that kind of thing where you're like, the character that you've been like has been developed for us wouldn't smile knowingly like that.
Yeah, she definitely was like, I don't know, maybe it was like something about the outfit that was like just bringing Catherine out of her.
She was just feeling that. All right. Next scene, Vamp Chair. You didn't see what I named this one? All right.
Incredible. I love when I find them in real, like, I love when I find them on air. Because, like, we, like, we work on the documents at different times. So sometimes we, like, don't see everything. And I just love when I find them on air because it's funny. Vamp Chair.
Vamp Chair no more. We are at the Gilbert residence. Jeremy is getting ready at home for Founder's Day in period-accurate battle garb. As he puts on his jacket, he turns around to find Anna. They are both happy to see each other. Jeremy asks how she's doing and says he feels terribly about the loss of her mother. She waves it off, saying it wasn't him who killed her mother. His uncle did. Jeremy asks if she's sure it was him, and she asks him who else would have done it. Jeremy goes on to defend Uncle John by saying he doesn't understand, meaning Uncle John doesn't understand, and he hates all vampires. And Jeremy thinks John thinks that he's doing the right thing. Anna rightfully calls Jeremy out on this. Jeremy tries to save face by saying no, like he's not like defending him, but he understands where his uncle's coming from and that John's only trying to protect the town from the tomb vampires. Anna confirms that the remaining tomb vampires do want revenge, or they did before Pearl, Anna, and Harper split off from them. Pearl didn't want revenge, she just wanted her life back. Anna lets Jeremy know she has to leave town, and Jeremy's confused by this. Anna says she could turn him. She gives him a vial of her blood and tells him that if he dies within his system, he will come back. Jeremy is somber at this, and Anna goes on to tell him that she understands him and what he's gone through, and that if he chooses to become a vampire, he can turn off those emotions, and she can show him how. Jeremy says he wanted to become a vampire, but now he doesn't think he can, and apologizes, and Anna leaves before he turns around.
Wow.
Yeah. Vamp chair no more.
Vamp chair no more. Okay. Once again, I ask.
This is you.
This is me. I literally can't even remember when I write notes because we're just one mind at this point. Okay. I'm sorry, but where are these other tomb vampires? Like, we have been alluding to them. We have not heard about them. We just keep hearing them. And maybe that's why I don't even know how I can even address this note, because where are they? And I just have questions. Oh, as always, have questions. And I will keep crashing out over these tomb vampires throughout this episode because it is crazy work how they are sort of just wedged into this final episode. But we'll talk more about that in our hot takes.
These next two are you two.
And
I can tell from how you wrote them.
Yeah, I know. I do expressively write my notes. I like yell, and you can tell when I'm writing notes because I yell.
But you also, wild work is definitely a Brenna phrase. Dark stuff is also definitely a Brenna phrase.
That is true. Okay, so yes. So Jeremy trying to justify John again to Anna is wild work. Anna is being extremely kind about it, though, and she could be a lot more spiteful. And dark stuff giving Jeremy a vial of your blood, Anna. That's tough.
Yeah. So I have more thoughts because I really pop off about it.
Yeah.
Jeremy defending Uncle John here. So I'll talk more about that in our hot takes final thoughts. But I agree that it is dark stuff giving Jeremy a vial of her blood. And I also feel like it's kind of messed up as far as tactics go, that Anna's like, I know you're all alone and feel empty inside. I'm like, are you trying to convince him? You're literally trying to convince him to die.
Yeah.
That's not, I don't think that's the right way to do it. And I also, then my question too is, this is a real change for Vamp Jer.
Yeah.
Why do we think he doesn't want to be a vampire anymore?
Well,
because he is falling for Anna.
Right. I think it has, I genuinely think it's probably because of what he saw firsthand, the violence that was wrought on Uncle John during his brief captivity with Isobel. I really do think that, because he then finally got to really see how dangerous vampires can be, because he's only seen he only remembers the Anna of it all.
Right.
He only really remembers Anna. And so he hasn't been exposed to the violence as now, because he had been compelled away to forget the other stuff.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. And then I think on top of that, he and Uncle John have been, now there's an open line of communication, and he's learning more about his dad. And I'm sure that is complicated for him too.
Yeah.
And obviously he's buying in at least to Uncle John's reasoning here.
Yeah.
So,
and low-key defending him to his girlfriend, we'll say. I never know if they made it a fish, but for the most part, I would say they're partners. And literally his uncle killed her mom. So, yikes.
Yeah. All right, next scene, Bio Dad bomb drop. We're at Mystic Falls High. We come up in media res on Stefan sharing the speculative news that Uncle John is Elena's biological father. He says there's no proof, but he dated Isobel and was the one who brought Isobel to Elena's father for delivery. Elena is confused and says for her whole life she's never liked Uncle John. Stefan apologizes and tells her he wanted to hear it from him before Damon dropped it on her in some inappropriate way. She's glad he told her, but is unsure what to do. Should she confront him and ask if he is her biological father? Stefan says she can do that whenever she's ready. Flustered, Elena says she'll never be ready because she has enough problems with the family she does care about, like Jeremy, who hates her. Stefan tries reassuring her, saying that Jeremy's just hurt and confused. She's worried he'll never forgive him, that he'll never forgive her for Vicky and for taking away his memories. Stefan continues to comfort her by telling her to just give Jeremy some time.
Tough stuff. The bio dad drop, just casual. All right.
Well, we already know, so.
Yeah, we already know. So it's not really surprising to us, but, she's got I love that it's more she's like, I've never liked him. How is he my dad? I never liked him. When you think about it, it's kind of funny. Yeah. Okay. Next scene. You're going to have to do a little bit better than sorry. And we're at Mystic Falls High. Across the way in the parking lot, Caroline, who is donning her Miss Mystic Falls sash, complete with 1864 garb, is posing with Matt, who is also dressed up with a cast from his injury last episode. She tells Matt that he needs to hide his cast in the photo because it isn't era appropriate. I love her.
Her sash isn't either, though.
Yeah, it's just saying. That's so true.
But it is hilarious.
Bonnie helps snap the pic on a cute purple digital camera. Just wanted to call out the times, I love that it was that digital camera.
And it was so big to pick whatever color you wanted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I really want a digital camera. Side note, I want to try to get a new one.
I'm sure they're really inexpensive now.
I'm going to be on the search. Maybe that's
TVs.
Yeah.
They're so cheap now.
So, or they're expensive because now they're in. Okay. Anyway, Tyler walks up to the group in battle garb as Caroline takes a photo with Bonnie, asks to take a photo with Bonnie, and he offers to take it for them. Matt, still soured by Tyler's presence, grimaces and tells them that he'll be on the float. Tyler flippantly looks at Caroline and tells her he said he was sorry to Matt, and she reiterates what happened between Tyler and Matt's mom, and Matt and Tyler, noting that he's going to have to do a little bit better than "I'm sorry." Tyler looks somewhat resigned as they walk away from him.
So Caroline looks so cute.
Yeah.
But also this is just kind of funny thing. Like Tyler offers to take a photo of her and Bonnie, and she just walks away from him, and he just has the camera.
Whose camera is it? It's probably hers.
Or Bonnie's.
Or Bonnie's. But like, yeah, he just is like, okay. Like, so I guess we're not doing a picture then?
It's not.
All right, next scene. Something like that just doesn't, or like this just doesn't get fixed. And we are at Mystic Falls High. Elena is following Jeremy around trying to apologize, and Jeremy is not having it. She insists that she doesn't want it to be like this between them, and Jeremy claps back, suggesting that Elena have his memory erased by Damon again. He keeps shutting down her apologies, not ready to forgive, and walks away.
Tough stuff.
Tough stuff.
And we're kind of going through those more quickly because there are so many conversations that are basically the same between them or when talking about her and Jeremy. All right, next scene, floating on history. We're at the Mystic Falls parade route. Mrs. Lockwood is introducing the parade, starting with the Mystic Falls marching band. Townspeople are waving as the parade continues. We see the end result of Mr. Saltzman history students recreating the Battle of Willow Creek, which both Tyler and Jeremy are a part of. Tyler playfully shoots Jeremy on the float, and they wave. Mrs. Lockwood then introduces the Miss Mystic Falls court and their escorts, which includes our girl Caroline and Matt, Elena and Stefan, and we wrote and the rest of the contestants from the pageant, but Amber's not there. Mrs. Lockwood introduces Caroline specifically as Miss Mystic. Elena spots Bonnie in the crowd and waves to her, and she waves back. As they're waving to one another, Damon steps in front of Bonnie, smirking at Elena waving. She looks annoyed and uncomfortable by his gesture and his Damon wink, and shakes her head and keeps waving to other onlookers. Damon looks back to Bonnie, and she asks him what he wants. He says he's just watching the parade. She goes to walk away. He asks where she's going, and she says away from him. But he stops her because he has something to say. Bonnie's not having it, but Damon goes on to thank Bonnie for despelling the device that Emily created because it could have killed him. He doesn't take lightly what she did. Bonnie says she did it for Elena, but he insists he's still grateful and says that he owes her and to enjoy the parade. He walks away. The parade continues with Mrs. Lockwood announcing the Mystic Falls football team's float with the cheerleaders in tow next to it. All right. So I love seeing Tyler and Jeremy having fun together, and I'm still shipping them in our headcanon.
I'm still shipping them too. They've come a long way.
The way season. They like smile at each other, I'm like, can you feel the love tonight?
Truly. I just like these two. They do love each other. They really do.
Yeah. And of course, I already mentioned that Amber's missing from the Miss Mystic Court. Yeah. I know we talked off camera like, well, she never actually like is a part of the pageant because she's having a panic attack / is being kidnapped by Stefan. I mean, I just assumed they couldn't get the actress again.
Yeah, probably because she was important enough to be called out on the IMDb. Mm-hmm. Spencer Locke. I just remember her name because of that.
Yeah. So. Okay, I think all of these notes are mine.
Yeah, go for it.
Damn, some sincerity from Damon. I do think it's odd that the writers are like, okay, now we're going to make him show like vulnerability and respect to characters besides Elena, but we need to talk about this more in hot takes because it's weird. All right, and then this is kind of mean, but the football float is really just a tractor with like a wood platform and hay bales on it. Hay bales, not bells.
Bales. Just kidding. I can't.
All right. Not seemingly a ton of effort from the football team and cheerleaders.
Yeah, not a lot. And it's probably because, you know what, they've just been on a rudderless ship since Mr. Tanner died.
Oh my God. I saw this funny video that I may or may not have sent you where this person was like, did a PowerPoint of what they would do if they were a character in Mystic Falls.
Yes.
And one of them was like, a teacher dies and they all just keep going about their lives, basically like nothing happened. And I was like, Mr. Tanner.
Yeah. And I notably remember from that exact reel that you did send me is that why does everyone look hot and stressed? And I agree. Why does everyone look hot and stressed?
I don't know. Maybe we can ask our tarot cards.
Yes. Oh, yeah. A little sneak peek there for some extra content from us later. All right. Yeah, just some crazy stuff. Also, I guess Tyler forgot to coach the team too, you know? So we're bringing it all back.
And, you know, Matt and Stefan are escorts, and Caroline, our cheerleading coach / captain, she's Miss Mystic Falls, so she was too busy doing the Miss Mystic float.
So, yeah, everyone has a lot of work to do in this episode because everyone's here. Yeah. Pretty much, right? I don't think there's any. I mean, I think
we have everybody.
Here. Yeah, we see everyone in this episode. All right, next scene: battle plan. We are at Dr. Gilbert's office / a random building. We catch a glimpse of the late Dr. Gilbert's office exterior. Inside, we see Uncle John and Mayor Lockwood with the Gilbert device. John is showing Mayor Lockwood how it works, and once the round key is inserted, the device will be activated. It will work only once for an estimated time of 5 minutes. According to John, it emits a high-pitched frequency that humans can't hear, but any vampire within a 5-block radius will be incapacitated. Once the vampires are exposed, the plan is to shoot them up with vervain and bring them back to the doctor's office where they will be finished off. Mayor Lockwood asks if Uncle John is sure they're attacking tonight and says that then Uncle John says that he had a source, which is one of the tomb vampires, which I can think we can safely assume was Henry.
Yeah.
Who confirmed this attack. So we get a cutaway of the remaining tomb vampires just randomly back. Here they are in a building plotting and scheming for the event. Uncle John was right. They are waiting until the fireworks start to begin their attack, and in the meantime, they will blend in and stay a part of the celebration. We cut back to John saying the vampires want revenge for what their ancestors did to the vampires in 1864, making the founding families a target. Back in the building, the tomb vampires are being shown a map by their leader, whose name we don't know. It outlines where the founding families will be located during the fireworks. We switch back to Mayor Lockwood and John, where Mayor Lockwood is questioning the plan, stating that they're taking an enormous risk with their families. Back at the building, we see Anna approach the new head tomb vampire, who is surprised she's there. We cut back to John, saying it's the only way they'll be able to draw them out and kill them. My goodness. Okay. I have more thoughts, as I said earlier. I have more thoughts, which I want to reserve for hot takes, but we needed to have these tomb vampires still in the picture if this is where the finale was headed. Like, it doesn't seem like a prominent enough threat to me to just just throw them back into the storyline after having weeks off from this storyline.
I agree.
And also, just got to put it out there. Who is this random tomb vampire leader? Who is he? And why does he look like he should be on One Tree Hill instead of a 1864 vampire? I just what is going on? He doesn't even have a name. I have to tell you, they do not name him in the transcripts that we read. He's just tomb vampire leader, I think is what they call him. But he looks like he should be on One Tree Hill. Tell me I'm wrong.
I concur.
We need a picture of him for no context for this week.
We do.
Anyway.
Next scene, flirt friend fix. We're at Mystic Grill. We see the festivities go on through the town square and end up at the grill. Damon is inside and spots Elena entering. He seems to have a few conflicting thoughts in his head and approaches her. He says he likes her better like this, further commenting that the period look didn't suit her. Elena asks if it's an insult, but Damon sarcastically replies that it's a compliment of the highest order. Elena wastes no time beating around the bush, saying that Stefan is worried about her and Damon's friendship. Damon asks if Stefan talked to her too, and she looks at him confused and says no, and asks if he talked to Stefan. Damon shrugs it off and says no, and nothing worth repeating. Elena tells Damon that he should stop with the flirty little comments and the eye thing that he does. Damon asks what eye thing, as he does the eye thing, which is really his signature smirk with a flirty, intense stare. He smiles. Elena turns her head, proving the point of why she has to ask. She tells him to not make her regret being his friend. He seems upset by this. Elena then spots Jeremy sitting at a table and walks over to him. She pleads for his forgiveness, saying she doesn't believe this isn't something that can't be fixed, and asks what she can do to fix it. Jeremy once again writes her off and tells her to go to hell.
Damon just feels like he's trying a little too hard.
I agree.
Like,
it just feels like too strong of a pivot.
Right. I agree. We'll be popping off.
And it's not like they didn't have enough episodes. We've had 22 episodes.
Yeah. And it's been like very subtle until now. You know what I mean? Because it's like just like a lot of his things so far as like passes at Elena are like just enough that they're like a small pass, like smaller passes. Like they're not, but this feels very overt. Like feels much more overt.
Yes, I agree.
Also the eye thing. I was trying to figure out if I could like figure it out, like how he does it. Because it's like a like
smolder holder, as Paul Wesley calls him. It's just so talented.
Yeah, it's just like, I can't do it. I'll work on it.
Amazing. I do want to say thank you, Elena, for finally saying something to Damon. But you know what, girl? You got to stop flirting, too.
And you know what? What's funny is, okay, I'm also very contradictory in what I have in my final takes and also what I have here. But like Jeremy is sticking to his guns with Elena. And I do kind of like love that he's sticking to his guns. But then I also have other thoughts about this later.
Well, I think that you can see where he's coming from and respect how he's kind of handling the situation while also being like, okay, but questioning why he could forgive Anna, but he can't forgive Elena and isn't thinking about the bigger picture. But also he's a teenage boy.
That's so true. Yeah. That, you know what? Mystery solved. All right. Next scene. For the right reasons, we are in the town square. Jeremy is walking through the crowded town square to get away from Elena and her apologies. Damon comes up behind him and starts mocking him by saying, I have so many emotions, but I don't have any way to express them. Being a teenager is so hard. Jeremy calls him a dick, and Damon says not to talk to him like that. Damon's not his sister. He grabs Jeremy's arm and tells him from now on he shouldn't talk to his sister that way either. Jeremy asks if Damon's going to kill him just because he hurt Elena's feelings, and Damon says to cut her some slack, but Jeremy's not having it. Damon says that that Elena was just trying to protect him, but Jeremy stands firm and that it wasn't her call to make. Jeremy goes to walk away, but Damon grabs his arm more roughly, and Jeremy tells Damon to let go of him before he causes a scene, but Damon says he'll be unconscious before he even gets a word out. Stefan arrives and tells Damon to let go of Jeremy, and he complies. Stefan asks if Jeremy is okay and clarifies Damon's intention by saying not to blame Elena for what is to just not blame Elena, like, because Damon turned Vicky, Stefan killed her, and she was a threat to both Jeremy and Elena, and Stefan's sorry that it happened. Jeremy maintains that they shouldn't have erased his memory and walks away. Stefan asks Damon what he's doing, and Damon just says Damon does and tells Stefan that Jeremy was being a punk. Stefan tells Damon that Elena's relationship with Jeremy isn't his business, and Damon once again deflects, commenting on how he didn't know there was only a role for one do-gooder. Stefan says they both know that Damon's not doing this for the right reasons. Damon calls out Stefan's jealousy again, and Stefan tells Damon that it's only real when it comes from his own desire to do the right thing and in return, and with nothing in return, and that's a foreign concept to him, and walks away. G. To that end, it's a nice gesture that Damon wants to help, right? Like, but as of right now, it's very Elena's good graces motivated, and Stefan was right to call him out for this.
That's you too.
I think both brothers telling Jeremy that she was trying to help is ultimately a good thing, though, like, because Jeremy is entitled to his feelings and can sit with them a bit before he's like ready to go for a resolve. But I mean, I think he should be reminded that his sister was her intentions were good, even though like she went about it in a bad way.
Yeah, and you know what? He doesn't ever have to forgive her for that. Like, I just want that to be clear here, because like, you know, when he says to Elena, this isn't something that's going to be fixed that easily, like it might never be fixed. And that what she did, no matter what the other parts of it, she's the one who wanted his memories taken away. She made that decision for him. Yeah. And I do think in some, like, I mean, it's just as bad as turning Vicky. I mean, I'm not going to say it's bad that Stefan killed Vicky because she was trying to kill Elena. Yeah. So, like, you know, but I'm here with Stefan to say that this is really not either of their business. Yeah. I do agree, though, that it's good for Jeremy to hear this. But I gotta say, Damon physically grabs a kid at a very public town event. How does no one notice?
I feel like they just don't at this point. And also, I think maybe because the Salvatore brothers have been like just kind of bopping around with the Gilberts at this point so much, no one's really batting an eye at it, which is annoying, but still someone should. Any kind of aggression.
Physically grabbing a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is weird.
It's broad daylight. There are people all around them. They are not being subtle.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically Stefan did. I guess Stefan noticed at least. But I know the rest of the people, there's a lot of people out there.
Right.
Yeah, I would definitely say something to somebody if someone did that.
I'd be like, everyone knows each other. I'd be like, yo, Jeremy, are you okay?
Yeah, they'd be like, hello? Like, why are you doing this? But it's also the same thing when Caroline and Matt, when Damon does that to Elena when they're going to the tomb and they don't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And it's like, just weird. I don't know. And that's
why at least they like do exchange a look and she says something like it's okay.
Yeah, I guess that's true. She does kind of like be like, yeah, I am with him. So,
but this town, right? Like someone steps in front of a truck outside of the bachelor raffle and no one comes out.
No.
They just keep going trying to raffle.
Nope, they keep trying to raffle off bachelors.
I can't. All right, next scene, sheriff knockout. We're at the sheriff's office. Sheriff Forbes is not having John's idea for using the town as bait for the tomb vampires. We learn John and Mayor Lockwood have already taken measures to go over the plans with Sheriff Forbes' deputies. She's pissed that they go around her and reminds them that their children are here in the town. But both Mayor and Uncle John insist this needs to happen, and this is why the founding families have a secret council to begin with. But Sheriff Forbes still says no, and that it's her call. John asks Mayor Lockwood if he can speak to the sheriff alone, and the mayor leaves. Irritated, Sheriff Forbes tells John he's not thinking clearly and that she won't change her mind about this. Unfortunately, Uncle Daddy John has other plans and knocks the sheriff out with a back blow to the head, handcuffing her to a building pipe in her office. He then leaves to carry out the plans.
Once again, wild work from Uncle John this time. Just knocking out the sheriff. Like, do we, like, that, I just feel like that's, like, what are the consequences of this?
That's literally my next thought is I'm really curious about the consequences of this because we don't really see much, right? Like, there is nothing that happens in the episode that, like, shows that, like, she arrests John or, like, anything, right? So I'm like, and then I'm also curious how things might have gone. Well, first off, hold on. Before I get to that, it is not okay that they knocked out the sheriff, but it is also not okay that a man physically knocks out a female woman in power, and that he and the mayor go around her, right, because she's an obstacle in her way. And, like, honestly, that's how the patriarchy treats women.
Yeah.
And Uncle John, there not seemingly being any consequences for this action.
No.
Just really shows how shitty this town is and how women are not, like, it undermines her power.
For sure.
And it, like, makes it seem like, oh, she's only useful to them if she's towing the line.
Yeah. No, that's such a good thing. And that actually, we can be reminded of that when Mayor Lockwood is doing his speech before the fireworks.
Oh, yes. We can talk about that. But then my other question is, how might things have gone differently if Sheriff Forbes was involved?
I mean, I think for one, she would make sure that all their children were removed from the town and making sure that they are all at least at safety. I mean, whether or not they keep the adults there as bait is one thing, and that could be a choice that the adults all make together, but let's maybe get the kids out of here, which I guess, later on we see Mayor Lockwood try to do, but...
Yeah, and I have a thought about that, but we'll talk about it when we get into it.
Can't wait. All right, on to our next scene. 15 words or less. We're still at the town square. It's nighttime now, and Damon's still walking around the Founders Day festivities. Anna approaches from behind, and he's surprised she's still around. She pulls him aside and tells him the tomb vampires are planning an attack tonight. He asks how she knows this, and she says she went to them, and they think that she's with them, but she isn't. She shares they want the founding families dead. Damon, like all of us, is confused and asks when this is supposed to happen. And she says when the fireworks start. Damon puts together that John wants to use the invention on them. And Anna, alarmed, says they can't be there, like them, like as they're the good vampires. Damon says that the device has been activated, so he's not really worried about it. But Anna says, regardless, a lot of people are going to die. And Damon asks where they are, and Anna tells them they're already here. Across the way, the unknown One Tree Hill tomb vampire is instructing the other tomb vamps on who are wearing volunteer shirts that they can't feed because they don't know who is or isn't on Vervain, and it's about the kill. So they're not feeding, it's about the kill. And he dispatches them into the crowd. Damon walks over to Rick and asks if he has any vampire weapons in the car and informs him of the tomb vampires on the scene. Rick goes to the car to get the weapons. Always prepared, our Rick. Damon spots Elena and Stefan walking around arm in arm and hooks onto Elena's. She asks what he's doing, and he says saving her life. Damon informs them, in 15 words or less, of the tomb vampire's presence. They're targeting founding families, and they need to get Elena to safety. Stefan tries to ask more, but Damon says that's more than 15 words and walks away. Elena tells Stefan that Jeremy's still out there at the event, and they rush to go find him. So, bless up to Rick, who's always prepared with vampire weapons. Maybe Elena needs to do the same.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But I do also feel really badly that Rick is truly not being allowed to disconnect from the supernatural like he said he wanted to a couple episodes ago. And then my last thought with this is that there seems like a lot of tomb vampires are still around. And by my counts, it's like around 10 or a dozen.
Yeah.
Which I was trying to like do this math because I know we don't know how many were killed in the vampire nest versus like just Vervain.
Yeah.
But there were 26 because originally they said 27, but Catherine wasn't in the tomb. Right. So you take out Pearl, you take out Harper, you take out Frederick, you take out Billy.
Beth Ann.
You take out Beth Ann. That's 5. So that's 21. And then we know additional vampires were killed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it was like at least 10, right? Like at least 10. I mean, I don't know.
I would say probably
like at least 10 were killed in the nest.
That's what I would think. So it just, I don't know.
It's confusing.
I'm confused. All right.
We have questions.
We have questions. All right, next scene. Warning. We're at Mystic Grill. Tyler is at a pool table, and Caroline and Matt are sitting in a booth talking with him in view. Caroline shares a time when she and Bonnie were fighting, and she swore they'd never talk again, in hopes of helping Matt with his anger towards Tyler, but Matt shuts it down and tells her to give it a rest. Mayor Lockwood walks into the grill and makes his way towards Tyler and asks what he's doing at the grill because he told him to go home. Tyler, with a defiant attitude, says he's decided not to, and his dad starts to get aggressively aggravated. I feel like he grabs him and stuff.
Yeah.
Caroline walks over to defuse the situation, asking the mayor if everything's okay with Matt following behind her. The mayor pleads with Tyler to go home and to take his friends with him. Concerned, Matt asks if everything is okay, but the mayor says he can't explain and urges them to get home now. Tyler concedes, and Mayor Lockwood gives Tyler the keys to his car and tells Caroline and Matt to go with them. Confused, the trio grab their things to leave. Across the way, Jeremy is in the grill and finds Anna. He asks what she's doing there and worries that his uncle could see her, but she doesn't care about that. She pulls him into the women's bathroom. Not best room.
The best room.
The best room. So I will just say, what I was thinking about a couple scenes ago about the Sheriff Forbes would probably try to get the kids out. I mean, of course, I don't fault Mayor Lockwood for wanting his son to not be there.
Yeah.
But also there are other kids in this town, and I do actually really have a problem with selective saving, right? Like you're privy to information, so you only protect yours. Yeah. And I don't think that's okay. Yeah.
That's so fair.
So I struggle with that.
No. And, I guess when I was thinking about it, if Sheriff Forbes was involved getting because if we know that the targets are the founding family, but that doesn't mean that these other innocent people aren't vulnerable at this point. Right. But, it feels weird that they're just not being careful with everyone.
Right. And I also feel like Sheriff Forbes and probably Carol Lockwood, if they include her in to that conversation, She hasn't been a part of any of the council conversations that we've seen. I just feel like as women and mothers, they would, even though we don't necessarily find either of them to be great examples of mothers, but I do think that women in general are really, like, we often have to think outside of the box because the world treats us differently.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they could have come up with a way to, like, send all of the kids to, like, the high school gym or something to be like, we need help taking down the floats, or we bought surprise, the town is giving free pizza and soda to all of the kids for your hard work. And then, like, you station deputies so they can't leave. Like, I think there's a creative way to do it without, like, letting them know what's happening, but also is protecting all of the kids.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the matriarchy at work right there.
Yeah.
Perfect example of the matriarchy at work.
Yes, exactly. And then I just have to say Caroline is the mediator, and she deserves props for trying to help Bon and Eleni, Matt and Tyler with his dad.
I just love her so much. I mean, she really does, like, jump to Tyler's aid with this and just really she just, like, senses it.
She diffuses the situation so well.
Yeah.
But also makes it public, which means he can't do anything.
I love her for that.
I love her.
Guys, Caroline, if you were not a Caroline person prior to, like, watching along with us, like, what are we doing? Because she has just been a little gem this entire time. I know she has some tact to work on at certain points, but for the most part, this girl is on her game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next scene. Fireworks. All right, we're at the town square / Gilbert's office. Okay, so outside, Mayor Lockwood is giving another Founders Day speech talking about the town and how safe, prosperous, and welcoming it is as we pan across the crowd with the tomb vampire sprinkled in. He credits the founding families for working to make Mystic Falls the way it is and dedicates the fireworks display to them and their legacy. Everyone cheers. The mayor nods his head to the deputy nearby, and he makes the call. John, inside Dr. Gilbert's office, is waiting for the signal, sees it, and tells the deputies with him to get into position. The fireworks begin outside over the clock tower, and Mayor and Mrs. Lockwood are trying to make a swift exit from the stage as the unknown leader vamp tracks their moves from the crowd. Bonnie runs into the vamp, they exchange I'm sorries, and Bonnie immediately senses there's something off and follows him. We catch a quick glimpse of Elena and Stefan making moves through the crowd. Damon approaches John inside Dr. Gilbert's office, and Damon asks John if he has any idea what he's done, and John confidently says yes, he does. And John places the key into the device and turns it. It starts going off immediately, affecting Damon with searing pain in his head. As Elena and Stefan are walking, Stefan goes down too. Elena's confused and asks what's wrong, and he says his head. We cut back to John preparing a syringe of vervain as Damon writhes in pain. Inside the bathroom at the Grill, Anna also becomes affected as well and starts crying, pleading to make it stop. Jeremy, like Elena, is confused, asks what's wrong, and tries comforting her. We get a bunch of jump cuts between the fireworks, the device, and vampires going down, and deputies shooting them with vervain. Uncle John then vervains Damon.
Okay, so Damon walks into Dr. Gilbert's office and is like, do you have any idea what you've done to Uncle John? And I'm genuinely like, what does Damon think Uncle John did? Because as far as Damon knows at this moment, the device is deactivated.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go in there all like mad because you don't want to tip him off that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right? So technically Damon is the one who's to blame for the tomb vampires getting out and seeking revenge on the town.
Yeah.
And also like the way he approaches him, like, do we think, because he's like all determined, like, do we think he was going to try to kill Uncle John here? Like he walks towards him, like, you know, like that. And of course, you know, he knows about Uncle Daddy John's ring, but he also knows now that he's Elena's birth father. So it seems like killing him, even if Uncle John comes back, is against his whole good doer attitude and seems like something the Damon we know would do, but the Damon we are seeing in this episode, that doesn't make any sense.
Do you know what I think it might be? Is like, I think Damon was looking to like have a little shit-eating grin if the device wasn't working. Like, you know what I mean?
He looks like he's like pissed.
Right. Well, but it's like, I think, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think the way that I was reading it is that maybe he goes in there to be like, like what, like feigning that he like it's gonna work, and then it doesn't, but then it actually works. But I don't know.
I don't think he's feigning anything. He comes in pissed, and he's charging at him all determined.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It doesn't. It literally makes no sense.
He like should. Damon could be doing literally anything else but going and pursuing Uncle John in this moment, which would have saved him from being in that room right there,
like finding Jeremy.
Yeah. So he apparently cares so much about, which we'll also see later.
Oh my god. All right, next scene. It's going down. I'm yelling vampire.
I saw that and I loved. Thank you so much for the Kesha ref.
Oh, you're welcome. Our location is Mayor Lockwood's car / the town square. Tyler's driving Caroline and Matt home as he too becomes affected by the Gilbert device. It's faint at first, and Caroline asks Tyler what's the matter. Aggravated, Tyler says that noise, and Matt asks, wait, what noise? As Tyler keeps struggling. Caroline and Matt are increasingly concerned about Tyler and his loss of control of the wheel. Caroline is more focused on Tyler as Matt is focused on the car and tells Caroline to grab the wheel as the car begins to swerve in the road. They lose control of the vehicle and crash into a fence. The device is still going. We cut back to the town square where Stefan is still suffering from the sound of the device, the sound that it's emitting. A deputy charges after him to take Stefan in, but Rick says there's another one that way and that he will take this one, giving the deputy a wooden stake and tells him to go. Rick comes to Stefan and Elena's aid, and Elena tells Rick she doesn't know what happened and that Stefan just dropped. Rick helps her lift him and move him out from the open. Rick says Stefan's not the only one and that the cops are getting everyone who's gone down and injecting them with vervain. Elena's confused at first and then gets there, stating that they're rounding up all the vampires. Back over by the square, Mrs. Lockwood asks the cops to help her husband, saying he just went down. They inject him with vervain and take him away. Anna is still struggling with her head, and cops barge into the bathroom and inject her as well, taking her away. Jeremy struggles after her, but is stopped by another cop. And my only real thought here, so the Gilbert device doesn't only impact vampires. Interesting. Very interesting.
Can't wait to find out what that's about. Okay. Next scene. Burn, vamps, burn. We're at Dr. Gilbert's office. The device comes to a halt, and Uncle John takes the key out of the device and puts it away. He walks towards the basement door in the office. Downstairs, we see a knocked-out Damon on the basement floor with John's footsteps behind. A cop is dragging another vampire body down to the basement with John walking behind them. John says to the cop that the device is done and the only thing keeping the vampires down is vervain. Damon slowly wakes up, and John goes on to say they don't have a lot of time and they need to finish this. The cop starts dousing the basement in gasoline, and John begins to head upstairs, but Anna, riddled with vervain, grabs him by the leg as Damon looks on. John tells the deputy to leave and that he can take it from here. She tries to get up and pleads with John, but he takes a stake to her heart anyway. Rip. Damon keeps looking around, unable to move, with John coating the rest of the basement and stairs with gasoline and sets the room ablaze. See you later, Anna.
I can't really say we'll miss you, but...
Yeah, sorry, girl. Sorry, girl.
All right, next scene. Flames on the side of my face.
Do you know what this is from? This quote?
No.
It's from Clue.
Ooh.
Flames. The side of my face.
Oh, amazing.
I was wondering if you would know the reference, but I was like, oh, yeah, because you've seen the Clue movie.
I love Clue. Yeah, I just haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, so.
Oh, amazing.
The side of my face. Yeah, anyway.
Love. Town Square is our location. Elena asks if Stefan's okay, and he says it felt like a bunch of needles were piercing his skull before it stopped. Rick comes down the stairs to report that he saw at least 5 vampires go down and were taken to Dr. Gilbert's office. Stefan correctly surmises it's the Gilbert device. Elena questions the culprit being the Gilbert device. She's like, how did he get it to work? But Alaric levels with her, saying maybe Bonnie didn't dispel it.
I love that Rick, sorry to just interject here, but I love that Rick always just has the fucking real answer whenever Elena's like, well, I don't know, that's not I think it was something with Stefan, right? Where she's like, I just don't know what's wrong with him. And he's like, well, he is a vampire. I think that was at the founders part, that one party. And then it's this is well, maybe Bonnie just didn't do it. And he's just so real.
Thinking that Uncle John, who as far as we know does not possess any supernatural abilities, just got it to work.
No.
Also, he didn't know it didn't work. So how... What? Okay. Elena maintains that Bonnie did dispel the device because they saw her do it. You don't know what you saw. Stefan agrees that Bonnie might not have followed. He is agreeing with Rick that she might not have followed through on the ask because it was meant to protect humans against vampires. Elena says that Bonnie despelled it so they could protect Stefan, but he says, and Damon, vampires. Stefan asks where Damon is, and Rick says he doesn't know and that he hasn't seen him since everything started. Elena asks Rick to get Jeremy and take him home, which Rick agrees to do. All right, next scene, which is a little shorty. Unlockwood.
I love it. I was like, I'm not sure if this is really working, but I kind of like it.
I like it. Location, sheriff's office. Carol Lockwood walks into the sheriff's office and finds Liz awake and cuffed to the pipe. She asks if she's okay and distressingly asks what's going on. Liz, very focused, says there's a key in her belt, and she asks Carol to get it. Carol, frustrated, says she's been looking everywhere for Liz because the sheriff's deputies took Mayor Lockwood, and she doesn't understand why because Richard's not a vampire. They head out.
All right, next scene. I'm a vampire. What's your excuse? And we're down in Dr. Graceman's office basement. Basement's a big hot spot this episode. Mm-hmm. The fire is raging on in the basement, killing 2 vampires as it spreads. Damon, who is slowly coming out of vervain coma, or his vervain nap, if you will, spots the mayor. He asks Damon what he's doing in the basement, and we get the mayor asks Damon what he's doing in the basement, and we get the title from the scene. I'm a vampire. What's your excuse? And the mayor slowly moves away from Damon as Damon drags himself forward, coming to the realization that the mayor was unaffected by the vervain. He asks what the mayor is, as the mayor continues to scoot away into the unnamed leader vampire's arms, who breaks his neck. Yikes.
R.I.P. Mayor Lockwood, we definitely won't miss you. We'll definitely miss Anna way more than you.
Yeah, we'll miss Anna more than you.
And it is really interesting that the device affected the mayor, but vervain did not.
And as it did Tyler.
What are they?
What are they? I don't know. We'll have to, we'll
have to wait to find out.
We'll have to wait to find out. Okay. Scene 20. His eyes. Which... this is kind of goes right into that. So we're near the town square. Matt checks in with Caroline from the accident. He says that her side took the biggest hit. Caroline stresses that she's fine. She seems more concerned about Tyler, who was laying on the ground. An EMT is taking care of Tyler, who seems unconscious, but his pulse is steadying. Matt leaves Caroline be, who seems a little woozy, but we cut back over to Tyler being assessed by the EMT, who opens his eyes and sees an inhuman eye flash underneath Tyler's eyelid. The EMT is alarmed. Matt goes over to the EMT and asks what's wrong, and he says his eyes. And Tyler gasps as he comes back to consciousness. Matt tells Tyler not to scare him like that. Across the way, we hear someone off screen say, "Hey, we need some help over here." And Matt looks over to see Caroline on the ground, passed out. He immediately rushes over to Caroline and tells the EMTs to come over there. Matt tells Caroline that they're going to get her help and to wake up. So we can talk about this more in final takes, but Mr. Lockwood and Tyler both being affected by the Gilbert device is, not lost. Not lost on us.
Sure isn't. Also, I'm just really worried about Caroline. Of course, she was worrying about Tyler when herself was worse for wear. And I just have to say, PSA to all of our listeners, you should always get checked out when you're in a car accident.
Yeah.
Even if you think you're okay. Not only because you might have a situation like Caroline, but you might have injuries that aren't it's always because I've been in a lot of car accidents, and luckily have walked away from them. But the last time I was in the ER, they were day 2 is always the worst. In terms of pain and things you might not know you have a concussion. You might not know that you pulled something. You might not know that you have internal bleeding. So just get checked out. Okay?
Yeah,
just get checked out. All right, next scene. As my father, it should. We're at the town square / the Gilbert basement. Stefan and Elena are searching for Damon. As they're looking around, Stefan hears the 2 vampires being burned and tells Elena the building's on fire. They move towards it as Uncle John looks on, presumably out front of the office building. Damon is still weakened. Inside, Damon is still weakened by the vervain, but at this point is unharmed by the basement's flames. He starts to get up as a beam falls from the ceiling. Elena and Stefan go up to John, and Elena asks where Damon is. Uncle Daddy John says he's where he should be and that it's over for Damon. Elena says he's crazy, but John asks why, because he's doing what should have been done 145 years ago. He tells Elena it's the right thing and then gestures to Stefan to go ahead and try to rescue his brother, but he won't make it out. Stefan asks Elena if there's another entrance in, since she knows the building well because of her dad. Elena says there's a utility door around the side. Stefan goes and Elena follows, but John grabs her arm and threatens to tell them that they missed a vampire. Elena asks him not to. John coldly says that doesn't mean anything to him, but Elena hits him with, as my father, it should. John is surprised by Elena's comment and says, Elena admits that she wasn't sure, but now she is. John is left contemplative and lets Elena go. Stefan makes his way to the utility door, but is interrupted by Bonnie telling him that he can't go in there. She tells him that the fire will take him out, but Stefan says he has to try because Damon's his brother. Stefan gets to the basement door, but the knob is hot from the fire. Elena catches up to Bonnie, who is outside of the building, and Bonnie gives Elena the same warning about not being able to go inside the building. Elena asks what she's doing, and Bonnie apologizes to her for lying and begins to chant while holding Elena's arm. Elena insists that she has to get inside. Back inside with the help of Bonnie's chanting, Stefan is able to open the door to the basement now. We cut between Bonnie chanting outside and Stefan readying to descend the fiery basement stairs. The fire is dimming, clearing a path for Stefan to walk through. He rushes down to Damon and then Vamp speeds up the stairs. Once they're up, Bonnie reignites the flame and the unnamed vampire leader is consumed by the flame, as is the rest of the basement. She ends the chanting and looks at Elena. She asks if they're going to be okay, just as the brothers burst from the utility door.
Wow.
Okay. So I have a lot of thoughts and questions about this scene.
Let's go.
All right. What I'm confused about is as they look for Damon, Elena and Stefan, is that it takes them so long to go to Dr. Gilbert's office, even though Rick told him that's where he saw the deputies taking the vampires. Wouldn't you just check there first?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because you guys have had no success finding Jeremy, but I guess allegedly Rick's going to find him right away. Like, I don't get it. I think the next one's you.
Yeah, this is a big scene. Elena finally confirms with Uncle John that he's her Uncle Daddy. Uncle Daddy John. He's her Uncle Daddy.
You DJ,
Uncle Daddy John. I find it intriguing that he lets her go into the building after she reveals that she knows someone is feeling some fatherly guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And then, speaking of guilt, Bonnie is really coming in clutch here to save Damon. I'm very impressed by her control over fire. Our girl has grown so much through the season, thinking about her lighting candles and the car wash, and just, oh my goodness, what growth from our girl.
Yeah. And alongside Bonnie's growth and her powers, what do we think she's getting from Elena? Because, like, A, yes, she's holding Elena so she doesn't go in, but B, she's definitely using her to channel energy. So she starts to chant as she holds Elena, and it seems like she's drawing energy or heat or something from Elena, maybe the water in her body, because we've seen that Bonnie pulls magic from the elements. So I'm really intrigued here. It doesn't look like the spell took anything out of Elena energetically, but Bonnie does seem a little woozy at the end, which is something I clocked and I want to watch.
I did clock that too, and I was wondering if she was going to go down, and because the way she kind of just pulls away from Elena. And
I'm like, I can't have both of my girls dropping.
No. Oh my goodness. No, there's already so many people that have dropped so far. We can't have Bonnie.
Right.
Yeah.
And then lastly, my big question is, why doesn't Stefan vamp speed down to Damon? He only vamp speeds on the way up with him. Vamp speed the whole time, bro.
Yeah, maybe because he didn't see him and he needed to see where he was. I don't know. See where he was.
They have great vision.
Yeah. Well, depending on the episode, because sometimes they need a flashlight and other times they're just their regular vision. I'm crying. Okay. Here we go. Our next scene. You have nothing to worry about. And we're at the grill. Stefan finds Elena and she tells him that the fire is out at the office and that the reason the building caught fire was from old wiring. That's the story that they're going with. Stefan asks where Damon went, and Elena says he kind of disappeared. They hug, and Elena says she's so glad Stefan is okay. Stefan says he tries hard to hate Damon, but it's pointless. And then Elena tells him it's okay because she cares, or because he cares and she cares too. She reiterates to Stefan that she loves him, though, and that she knows he's worried about that. Stefan says he knows, but stumbles over his words and the trouble Damon can cause as Elena reiterates that she loves him again. He eventually accepts this, and they kiss. She says he has nothing to worry about. She shares that Jenna called, and Jeremy's at home. She's going to go to the school to grab her dress, clothes, and the rest of her stuff, and will go check on him.
Because I'll talk about this scene more in our hot takes, but Damon doesn't even bother to thank Stefan for saving his life or Bonnie, and I hate that.
Yeah, what? Damon, we just fucked right off.
You almost died, and I mean, I hope there's not some retaliation that he's thinking about with Bonnie since she didn't actually dispel it, so he doesn't owe her anymore. But your brother, who you are absolute asshole to, and you did not, who was planning to die, and you did not try to convince him to live.
No.
He put himself in harm's way, and you fucked right off.
Damon.
Which feels like you would do if your vampire switch is off.
Yeah.
Or you're just an asshole.
Or you're just an asshole.
All right. Next scene. Life sucks either way.
You know what? I think we are about to find out exactly where Damon is.
I don't understand why this is more important.
I also don't know, but here we go.
Okay. Life sucks either way. We're at the Gilbert residence. Jeremy is sitting on his bed, holding the vial of Anna's blood, contemplating. He puts it into his desk drawer and closes it. He turns around to find Damon at his bedroom door, who tells him Anna's dead. Jeremy figured that was the case once the cops took her away. Damon says he knows he cared about her, and Jeremy confirms that he did. Damon tells him he saw Anna killed, and he said all he could think about was how he wanted to help her, but he couldn't. Jeremy asks why Damon is telling him this, and Damon says it's because he's taken away Jeremy's suffering once before. I mean, he can do it again, but it's Jeremy's choice. Jeremy says Damon thinks that he took his pain away, but it's still there, even if Jeremy can't remember why, and taking his memory away won't fix what's really wrong. Damon admits to Jeremy that what he did to Vicky was wrong, and he apologizes for his part. Jeremy then says that Anna told him vampires don't have to feel pain and that they could turn it off if they shut off their humanity, and Damon confirms that it's true. Jeremy asks if it's easier that way, and Damon asks what's easier, and Jeremy says life. Damon responds by saying, life sucks either way, Jeremy, but at least if you're a vampire, you don't have to feel bad about it if you don't want to. Jeremy asks if that's what Damon did, and Damon admits he's done it for a very long time and that life was a lot easier. All right. I still think you get out of Jeremy's business.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice you told him about Anna and you're offering this time, giving him that agency. But I think there are other people who you owe conversations.
Yeah, an apology too.
But this is a very sad and real conversation. And I am glad that Damon apologizes to Jeremy while also giving him space to talk.
I want to add that so when we were watching this scene, Dwight was like, this is actually some really good acting from Ian Somerhalder, because he does, when he's telling especially that the end stuff about life sucks either way, and the way he talks about it, it's his voice breaks a little bit as he's delivering the lines. So and Dwight literally pauses the episode when we're watching it and goes, that's some good acting from Ian Somerhalder right there. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. So it's Ian giving it his all. Still have questions about Damon's 180 flip around and his ways in this episode in terms of how
also,
he's been.
Just a couple hours ago, you were threatening to knock out Jeremy.
Yeah. And yeah, it's confusing at this point. But I also think this can count as Damon saying to all of us that his humanity switch is back on for sure.
I agree. And we're going to talk about this more.
Yeah.
And I already kind of alluded to this. Glad he's apologizing to Jeremy, or maybe this is your note, but he's not the only one who deserves an apology.
Yeah.
I would like the apology tour to continue, please, and thank you. I guess that is my note.
Yeah, that was yours. Yeah. Okay. Next scene. Emergent news. We are at Mystic Falls Hospital. Matt is in the hospital and teary-eyed waiting for Caroline, and Tyler apologizes to him, saying he doesn't even know what happened and how he lost control of the car. Matt accepts his apology and says Caroline should be all right, and Tyler sits with him. Sheriff Forbes comes into the hallway, and Matt asks if Caroline's okay. She tells him they took her into surgery and that she's suffering from internal bleeding. Matt asks if she's going to be okay, and she says they're going to do everything they can. Sheriff Forbes then shifts to focus to ask Tyler if he's talked to his mom. He tells her he left her a message to let her know he was there, and she or there at the hospital, and she says she needs to call her, and Tyler asks why, and she tells him it's your dad.
Internal bleeding? I am so worried for Caroline.
It's just,
yeah,
I just can't even with this. This is so scary.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Tyler and Matt are finally making up, despite Matt being fully justified and still being upset. But I guess there's just too many bigger things at stake here to to be worrying about. I mean, not that's still a horrible thing that Tyler did to Matt, but like, and like with Matt's mom, but you know, I don't know. It's just
life
tough.
and death stuff.
Life and death stuff is like
yeah.
shifting a lot. But
Yeah.
Carol, also, okay, just as like a slight, I don't know if I put this in the hot takes, and maybe I did, but like a baby hot take is that like they did just like hit the fence. It didn't seem like it was like that intense of like an impact, but I mean maybe it was. But like the way it's shot doesn't seem like as head-on collision as like the damage, and the fact that like Caroline's so, I mean, I know they said that she got like the most of it, but the fact that like Matt and Tyler are like literally fine is crazy. Like, I mean, but maybe Tyler,
I mean,
because
that does happen.
but yeah, so maybe it's just like my, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it just feels a lot like it's like that. It's that dire for Caroline, and which I'm so upset by. But it's like, holy shit! Like,
yeah,
how did they like? They must have really whammed into that fence.
Yeah,
I don't know if we saw the full impact of the accident.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Matt sitting down after Sheriff Forbes says the doctors are going to do everything they can is absolutely heartbreaking. I'm glad he's finally caring about a girl the way she deserves.
Yeah, how he should be caring. Just come on. All right, here we go. Next scene. Content warning.
I decided to give us a content warning because they don't give us a content warning.
Yeah, so this is content warning. Jeremy is in the bathroom with the vial of Anna's blood, looking into the mirror. He unscrews the cap and drinks it. He searches the cabinets and finds a travel bag that has Elena's painkillers in them. He pours a bunch of them out, fills a cup of water, and then looks at a pill. And then we cut to a commercial break. This is really like, I mean, just portraying like suicide in any manner is just like very dark, and I feel like they definitely didn't have a content warning about this back when the show was on, and it's just like very intense. It feel is very right,
intense, yeah.
But I'm glad that we did a little content warning, and it's just I'm sad for Jeremy. This is tough
for Jeremy. Yeah. All right, next scene. Damon has to change. We're outside of the grill. Stefan exits the grill and runs into Bonnie. He tells her she just missed Elena. Bonnie tells him that she was actually looking for him, which surprises Stefan. She goes on to say that Elena's her best friend, and that because Elena loves Stefan, Bonnie couldn't let him or Damon die in the fire. Stefan says he's very grateful to her for helping them, and she knows this, but she lays down the law to tell him that things have to change, and that Damon has to change. Stefan nods in agreement, saying they both want the same thing. But Bonnie corrects him and says, we both want to protect the people we care about. The difference is, for you, Damon is one of them. You saw what I was able to do tonight. I know who I am now, and if Damon spills so much as one drop of innocent blood, I'll take him down, even if I have to take you with him. Stefan responds that he hopes it doesn't come to that, and Bonnie says something to the effect like, let's hope it doesn't.
Yeah. So fierce.
Yeah. I seriously love this girl setting boundaries, making promises, like not even making a threat because I believe her.
Yeah.
Like she's making promises and I'm here for it.
Bonnie's threats aren't empty.
No.
They're very real. As we see that she did not dispel the Gilbert device, and she...
Yeah, but then she did help.
She did help them.
What did she think was going to happen?
I know.
I do think we have to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Well, we'll again. We've got a juicy end of the episode today.
That's why we're pop off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, oh yeah, we're breezing through the episode, even though we're still like over an hour into our deep dive, but it's fine. Okay, but we're getting to the end here. You've gotten into my bloodstream, and we are outside the Gilbert residence. Damon is exiting the Gilbert residence as Elena is walking up the stairs to the porch. She asks what Damon is doing there, and he says he's doing a failed and feeble attempt at doing the right thing. Elena asks what it was, but he says it's not important and offers to take her things for her. Random. She thanks him, and Damon says he's come to this town wanting to destroy it, but tonight he found himself wanting to protect it. He's confused how this happened because he's not good. There's no good in him. Elena says maybe there is, but Damon writes it off by saying that that's reserved for Stefan, for Elena, and for Bonnie, and acknowledges that even though Bonnie had every right to let him die, she helped Stefan save him.
But yet he didn't thank either of them.
He didn't know. Come on, Damon. Maybe in a future episode. She asks why he's so surprised, and he says, as he gets very close to her, because she did it for you, which means that somewhere along the way, you decided that I was worth saving, and I wanted to thank you for that.
That's not actually how Bonnie put it. She did it because Elena loves Stefan and Damon's Stefan's brother, but Fine.
Yeah, fine. But, hey. She says, "You're welcome," as Damon leans in to kiss her cheek. They stare at each other and they kiss. What? And it's steamy.
It is steamy.
It's a steamy kiss. It's like slow, but then it picks up and then up.
I mean, the music's great, which is what the scene title comes from.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. But you know what? Uncle Jenna.
Aunt Mom?
Uncle Daddy John and Aunt Mom. We got a lot of aunts and uncles around here. All right, so we open the door opens and we see Jenna, who is definitely not thrilled by this display in front of her. Elena says hi, and Jenna says it's late and that she should probably come inside. She does, and Elena does, and then closes the door, leaving Damon on the porch. Jenna closes the door and asks what Elena's doing, and she says she doesn't want to talk about it and walks away. Damon, still on the porch, confused, puzzled, unsure, walks away.
I do have to say, because when I was doing my final watch of the episode before coming over today, that Alex was watching it with me because we were having breakfast and was like, so Damon offers to take her stuff and then like puts it down on a chair.
Yep. Like
you were just inside their house. Why don't you like just go back inside?
Yeah, just go back in and like.
Also, it's not heavy.
No.
It's like a garment bag. And then I just have to say, because we will unpack this more in the next scene, obviously.
Yeah.
Shifts how we see this scene. But I would have more words than that, Jenna, just saying like, and then I say, see my note in the next scene, because literally I'm going to pop off about it.
Let's go.
All right.
Last scene. Episode 22. Here we are.
All right. Hello, John. Goodbye, John. We're at the Gilbert residence. Upstairs, Jeremy has taken the pills and goes to lay on his bed. Downstairs, Uncle John is grabbing a bottle of water from the fridge and is startled by Elena appearing behind the door as he closes it. He starts telling her how he first met Isobel as a teenager. He fell in love with her instantly, even though he doesn't think she ever loved him. He said she was special, and a part of why he hates the vampires so much is because of what it did to her. He says that he would have never sent her to Damon if he had known she wanted to turn. Elena's putting things away in the kitchen, as John says it's his fault for her becoming a vampire. Elena then goes to put knives away in the knife block. John says he's telling Elena this in hopes that she understands. She says, "Thank you," and John asks if he can help. She looks down at his ring and says, "Sure." Takes a knife and cuts off John's fingers, including the one with the ring on it. Yikes. She then pushes him up against the fridge with vampire strength. He looks at her in confusion and then correctly assumes who this Elena imposter really is, Catherine.
Oh my God, she's here.
She's entered the chat. We see Catherine vamp out a little and say, "Hello, John." "Goodbye, John." And she plunges the knife into his stomach. Outside, we see the real Elena on the phone with Stefan saying that someone took her stuff from the school. She gets her keys to go inside and says that she's going to check on Jeremy before heading to the hospital, presumably to check on Caroline, and asks him to meet her there and tells him that she loves him. She enters the house calling for Jeremy, asking if he's up, and hears clattering in the kitchen. End of episode.
I can't believe that this is how this episode ends. It's so crazy.
Oh, it's so crazy.
Okay. We got a lot of thoughts before we, move on to other parts of this episode, which we will then circle back in our final thoughts and hot takes. But Catherine, the switcheroo, the smooching Damon. Oh my God. We got it all here, folks, at the end of this episode. Like, it was already like a rip-roaring time, just a lot of stuff happening, but this is, a lot with the Catherine of it all. It's so good. And like, again, we'll talk more about it. But if you go back and watch the end scenes with Damon and then with John and even the interaction with Jenna, you can tell it's not Elena. Like, just if you haven't like rewatched the scene or like you're new to it, go rewatch it and just see how they are acting. Nina Dobrev is so masterful at portraying both Catherine and Elena and making them feel so distinct. I can't believe she's finally here with us in the present day.
I absolutely agree. Nina Dobrev really slays here, but you can still tell from subtle clues that it's not Elena.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones for me is how Catherine moves around in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I know we've only seen a little bit of Catherine so far in the show. So this is like, I guess, the smallest of spoilers. It's not really a spoiler. But we get to see, we've seen enough of her to know how she moves her body, how she carries herself. She has a very distinctive saunter. And so you get a snippet of it here, and it's very different and more fluid and confident than our beautiful yet clumsy heroine. And you know what? Truly, this scene is so iconic and is one of my favorites from the entire series.
Yeah, this kiss between Damon and Catherine is, like, as I said, very steamy, and she's such a little potster.
She sure is. And then to kind of take it inside, this is such a heartfelt, honest moment with Uncle Daddy John, and it bumps me out that he's not having it with Elena.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then to continue my note from the previous scene where I said, see my note in the next scene, where is Jenna? She catches Elena, aka Catherine, smooching Damon, demands to know what Elena's doing, and then just accepts that Elena doesn't want to talk about it. That doesn't make any sense for their dynamic to begin with. But then also just like fucks off because somehow she's missing what's happening not very quietly in the kitchen. I have questions.
Yes. So many. And not only that, but Jeremy also upstairs like OD. I know that probably is like a more quiet thing, but it's just like, I don't know, just like check on him. I don't know. Maybe that's like being too critical, but it just feels crazy. I don't know. It just feels like why are we not? But I guess Jenna's so on the outs of this episode. Like, why isn't she even there?
Why is Jenna opening the door in this moment? Because she seems surprised to find Elena kissing Damon. So it's not like she saw it from inside and that's why she opened the door.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so...
And it's not like she leaves then.
Yeah.
Because we see, like, she's not in the entryway when Elena comes in. So I guess in theory she could be out of the house.
Where did she fuck off to?
But it's quickly. Right, because Elena, I know we don't see it, but she's hearing stuff happening in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Which means that it's possible that Catherine is still in the house.
Yeah.
So... that's only minutes since Catherine arrived.
Yeah.
Where is Jenna?
You don't need super vampiring to like know that there's some shit going down in the kitchen. Just saying. It's crazy. I'm confused on where she is in the house. Like the house is big. Like, I mean, they have a pretty big house, and we definitely don't see like the full scope of the Gilbert house. I don't think.
But the front door is a clear line to the kitchen.
It is true. It is true. So I don't know, but this is just crazy. But it's a real fucking cliffhanger of an episode.
Oh my God, sure is.
Like, oh my God. Well, we'll definitely talk more about like the significance of that later, but we did it.
Our final deep dive of season 1 of the Hello Sister podcast.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
And the Vampire Diaries.
And the Vampire Diaries. It's season 1 for us. It's season 1 for them. And now we're going to get into some folklore.
All right. Let's dive into folklore for our season 1 finale, our final folklore of the season. This week, we're looking at magical devices and bespelled objects. So this week, we finally see the mysterious Gilbert device in action. As we know from last week's episode, Emily Bennett was the one who enchanted the device. Jonathan Gilbert never successfully invented anything.
Important thing to call out.
Frickin' men.
We thought it would be fun for our final folklore of oh, God, Jesus Christ. All right, we'll cut that out, Dwight. Thanks. We thought it would be fun for our final folklore section of season 1 to explore magical objects from various properties. We know this certainly won't be the last magical object overview we'll talk about during the series, and obviously the Gilbert device won't be the last thing we see in the series either, but we thought it would be fun to just do some magical object look-arounds from other properties and do a little overview of the ones that we have gotten in our show so far in season 1. So let's take it away.
Amazing. So the first area we're going to look at is fairy tales. We're going to specifically look at Snow White. We're trying to keep it contained because we're talking about all different types of properties in today's folklore section. I had definitely talked about this at the beginning of this season, besides the fact that Brenna and I are both folklore enthusiasts. My focus in grad school was on fairy tales. And I write reimagined fairy tales. So very excited that some fairy tales could finally make it into some folklore. So in the Brothers Grimm fairy tale of Snow White, published in 1812, we see the evil queen used several items to poison Snow White. There's a laced bodice and a poison comb. both of which put Snow White into an unconscious state, one via strangulation and the other via poison. Through the story, the dwarves, they have to remove both objects to save her. And it is worth noting that Snow White just every time gets fooled by the whatever disguise her stepmother is wearing.
So crazy.
And then, of course, there's the quintessential poisoned apple. This is like the third and final try from our evil queen. It's laced with belladonna, and this mirrors what we see in the movie version, which looks like a very magical process to get Snow White into a deep coma-like sleep. In the fairy tale, the poison apple achieves the same effect, but when the prince kisses her and dislodges the apple from her mouth, that's what saves her, rather than a true love's kiss.
Which I think in the movie they do it like it's more of a true love's kiss. It's
right.
Not
There's
the
like
apple.
There's nothing stuck in her throat.
No, it's just the kiss that does it. But in the actual story, it's it's like the item is like keeping her in that state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So very cool stuff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, I know we've talked about Dungeons and Dragons before. I'm a big D&D enthusiast, and play D&D, and just overall, and actually have some written published things from D&D that are out and available out there in the world. But yeah, so I wanted to bring in some D&D, especially when it comes to magical devices, since magical objects are a very big part of gameplay in Dungeons and Dragons. So two things that I felt like were a little related to our vampire stories in TVD. There is a magical item called a sunblade, which is an object that that's like a sword that has a luminous blade that emits bright light in a 15-foot radius and a dim light for an additional 15 feet. The light is sunlight. While the blade persists, you can use an action to expand or reduce its radius of bright and dim light by 5 feet to a maximum of 30 feet each or a minimum of 10 feet each. Proficiency with a longsword allows you to add to your proficiency bonus to the attack roll for any attack you may make with it. Obviously, I'm reading this from the DM guide, or the guide that this magical item exists in. And then there's another one that I thought was also relevant, is like the flame tongue, which is you like use a bonus action to speak magic. This magic sword's command word, and then it causes flames to erupt from the blade. These flames shed a bright light in a 40-foot radius and a dim light for an additional 40 feet, similar to the sunblade. And while the sword's ablaze, it deals an extra 2d6 fire damage, relating to our episode, to any target that it hits. The flames last until you use a bonus action to speak the command word again until you drop or sheath the sword. So I just thought that was like kind of fun because it feels so very like aligned with the episode today.
It absolutely is, and it's fun that you finally got to bring some D&D in, just like I got to bring fairy tales. Yeah. So
bringing in our loves.
Love. All right, I have done just a brief mention of a TV show that I love, which is going to make a lot of sense because I was just talking about the Brothers Grimm. I love the TV show Grimm, and I know I've referenced it in the show, but there's a ton of really cool magical objects and devices in that universe, and it's not strictly following fairy tales, even though the title like might make you think that. So I have two objects that I'm going to talk about. The first is the witch's hat. It's an object used by hexen beasts, which are they are the witches in this universe, but they in their true form are like really gross, like skeleton-like. And
it's kind of like what is that Roald Dahl? Is it the witches?
The witches.
The witches, yeah. It's like they're scary.
Yeah,
right?
It's scary. They're kind of like it's kind of like almost like demon-y looking. So the witch's hat is an object used by hexen beasts to inhale the vapor of certain Zaubertrunk. The hat is placed on top of a cauldron in which a Zaubertrunk is being brewed, which is basically like a spell of some kind. And the Zaubertrunk's vapor will come out of the top of the hat. So there's like a little opening, like picture just a typical like black witch's hat, but there's an opening at the top where the vapor can come out. And so it comes out for the hexen beast, making it to inhale. When used to strain liquid mixtures, the liquid is poured into the open end of the hat, which acts as a funnel as the strained liquid comes out through the pointed end. And how we see this used in the show is that the Hexenbeast is able to take on various glamours, which I think ties into our episode 2, right? Because we see Catherine cosplaying as Elena. She doesn't necessarily have to change her physical appearance, but in Grimm, you'll see characters like Adeline. She'll literally can appear to be a totally different person. Regardless of gender, etc.
That's really fun.
It is really cool. So the other object I'm going to talk about from Grimm is the skeleton key, which is a special key that can open any lock. It is comprised of mostly metacarpal and various phalanx
bones, I think. Yeah. I know phalanges, but phalanx, I guess that's...
its powers might only be able to be activated by vogued hexenbeasts, and what vogued mean in the world is when they're in their form. So it would be when the hexenbeast looks all spooky, or the wolf characters when they're transformed into a werewolf.
That's so fun. Thank you. Another show that I kind of missed and need to maybe check out. So cool. All right, so here we're going back to some more popular, you might know this if you have watched any Marvel shows or especially Marvel movies, right? But we have the Infinity Stones, which are a part of the MCU's Infinity Saga. There's also obviously comic counterparts, but just for this, I'm going to just focus on the movies. Thanos is famous for collecting the Infinity Stones and using them in the Infinity Gauntlet to cut the population in half. Together, they bring unstoppable ruin. And just a quick rundown of the different stones. There's the Space Stone, which generates wormhole and travels through space. It's also known as the Tesseract, which we see in Avengers and other properties. The Power Stone gives the wielder immense strength and to destroy civilizations. We see that in Guardians of the Galaxy. Time Stone manipulates time, obviously a lot with our Doctor Strange. He's the one that has that, and the Eye of Agamotto. Reality Stone transforms matter. And then we have the Soul Stone, which is, I think, in Thor, is the Reality Stone. That's the Aether. And then the Soul Stone, it controls and traps souls, which you do see in Infinity War. This is, a very spooky one that they have that, still is kind of doesn't really... It's confusing. And then we have the Mind Stone, that can manipulate the minds of others. But yeah, so as you can see, they're all very powerful. They're very strong. They create destruction. It obviously is a big thing in both Infinity War and Endgame. So I won't spoil more if you haven't seen those. Okay.
Great. Next, we're going to talk about Charmed, the 1990s Charmed, which it just so happens that I've begun a new rewatch of from the beginning. So, all right. So just a couple objects. There's way more magical objects and devices in the show than are showed here. I also really focused for the most part on ones we see earlier because I don't like the later seasons as much. So the Enchanted Mirror World, which is a portal device for magical travel. There's a summoning compass used to locate and summon magical beings. So that tracks, right?
Yeah.
There's power stones, which are crystalline objects that store and channel magical energy. And then this is just a fun one. So there's the dollhouse, which is literally a dollhouse, an exact replica, a mini replica of the Halliwell Manor created by Grams, when Prue, Piper, and Phoebe were children. However, at the time, when they were kids, Piper just assumed that their grandmother made it herself, but she really did it through magic. In 2005, Piper and Leo were trapped in it by their son Wyatt when he thought they needed protection from danger. Piper tried to blast open the window, but a force field around it bounced her back. They managed to swing it open in the conservatory area and escape. And in early 2006, the Charmed Ones were trapped in the dollhouse together while being impersonated by 3 demons who used the dollhouse's magic to transfer the power of 3 to themselves. After escaping it for the second time, Piper blew it up, killing the demons trapped inside. That's awesome. I just love that they use this device several times in the show.
That's really fun. Oh my goodness. So cool. All right. bopping back over to some literature, not the TV show, A Song of Ice and Fire, because we don't really get there in the TV series proper for as far as I'm concerned, unless I'm forgetting. But there are 2 popular horns in the A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. R. Martin that are discussed in the books. There's the Horn of Winter, which like thousands of years ago, Jarman, the king beyond the wall, supposedly blew the horn and woke giants from the earth, and free folk believe that blowing the horn again could bring down the wall. And what we understand in A Song of Ice and Fire, and also just Game of Thrones proper, the wall is like a magically enchanted barrier. And then we have the Dragon Binder or Hellhorn, which is another legendary horn from A Song of Ice and Fire that is said to bind and control dragons. It's spelled by Valyrian glyphs and steel, and either of these have not been proven real in the series so far, like in Martin's thing. So we don't really know if they exist or not, or there's been speculation that certain objects might be those things, but they're all fascinating, all the same. Don't come for me if you're like, I have a theory and I know that this is what it is. Because you know what? He hasn't finished the books yet. There we go.
All right. So the final property outside of the Vampire Diaries that we're going to talk about today is Netflix show Wednesday, which I'm a big fan of. Yeah. And Brenna and I were talking off camera just how fun it was that for this week's Folklore, we primarily focused on things we haven't talked about or we haven't talked about very much. And that this topic allowed us to veer away from some of the tried and true vampire mediums and universes that we've been talking about for a lot of the season. So there's a lot of magic that happens in Wednesday. I mean, she literally goes to Nevermore Academy, which is a school for magic. It's just kind of spooky. So I'm just going to talk about one object, and it's the obsidian talisman. We love a talisman.
I love that like a lot of our choices are really tangentially related to like the objects we've seen in season 1.
And not all of them I did on purpose.
Yeah,
Some of them just happened to be ones I liked. All right. So the obsidian talisman is a parting gift that Morticia gives Wednesday when she arrives at Nevermore Academy in season 1. Morticia tells Wednesday that it is made of obsidian, something that Aztec priests used to conjure visions, a power that Wednesday possesses in the show is clairvoyance.
Love. Like our girl Bonnie.
Mm-hmm. So Morticia claimed that it's a symbol of her and Wednesday's connection. Wednesday uses the necklace to attempt to contact Goody Adams while performing her seance. Goody Adams then uses the talisman to pass through Wednesday and heal her wound at one point in the show. And Wednesday uses the talisman to channel her psychic abilities while searching for a serial killer in season 2.
Very cool. Another show I haven't seen yet.
It's worth watching, yeah.
Okay, so before we get to our hot takes and final thoughts for our final episode of the season, we just wanted to do a quick rundown of our TVD magical objects from season 1. So do we want to just like rapid fire go back and forth? Okay, take it away.
So we've got Emily Bennett's necklace / crystal.
And talisman,
if you will.
All of the above. All of the above. Daylight rings and jewelry. We just saw that Isobel has a daylight necklace that's different from the daylight rings, so that's fun.
And Catherine had a necklace.
Oh, Catherine did also have a necklace, so fun.
The Gilbert watch.
Tracking the vampires. And then we have the Gilbert rings, which our Uncle John just got cut from his hand. Oops.
And the Gilbert device, which obviously had a really big role in the season 1 finale.
So there you have it. Can't wait to keep tracking magical items more and more, and hopefully we'll be able to bring in more magical objects that sort of relate to other magical objects that we see throughout the show from other properties. Love making the parallels. So
yeah, so fun.
All right, are we ready? Hot takes, final thoughts?
Yes. All right, let's move into hot takes and final thoughts for the final time of season 1.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. All right, so I mean, my final thoughts are like a page and a half long. I have so many notes. You have a ton of notes.
Yeah.
So where do we begin?
You know, I like the one that your first one. I think we can start there.
It does happen earlier in the episode. Yeah. So, okay. So I had said this earlier in the episode that I had a lot of thoughts about Jeremy defending Uncle John to Anna. So as I was doing the deep dive, I was like, no, I got to start popping off in the hot takes, which I usually don't. I usually don't really put any of those in until I like finish that. But this episode, I was like, feeling spicy. All right. Jeremy defending Uncle John, saying he gets where he's coming from, and basically saying that Uncle John doesn't know better is really hard to listen to in 2026. Brenna and I try not to get too political in this podcast and to keep the good times rolling, but Uncle John's hatred of the vampires is rooted in discrimination and racism, and it's not hard to trace the lines of othering the supernatural to people of color, the LGBTQIA community, women, and disabled folks.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of that, I don't think I had it written down, but this also somehow, for whatever, like, yes, I agree with all of this. And I'm so glad that you brought it up because it really is hard to listen to in today. I just can't quite explain it, but there's just something that feels really like when Mayor Locke was just talking about the waxing poetic on the founding families before the fireworks and being like, it's because of all of these founding families who are surely all white people, who are all the great people that makes it so welcoming. And it feels like there's just something sour to me about that, right?
And they always focus on the men, even though we know that there was Honoria fell.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Who we like barely get any information on. So I just think there's just something there. It's in there. It's baked in there. And maybe that's intentional. Maybe it's, I don't know. But I feel like, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, in 2010, it's doesn't mean that it was okay to have these conversations. But I remember being younger and having family members who certainly were not politically aligned with my immediate family.
Yeah.
And especially in college, having some uncomfortable discussions. And I remember certain family members being like, well, that's just so-and-so. And even then in 2010, 2011, right around the time this was happening, I was like, that's really not okay. But also I think jumping forward to the moment that we're in now, we cannot accept this kind of thinking and this kind of discourse.
No, because you can't just be like, oh, well, that's just how they are. No. We're too far from that.
Yeah.
And people have like a moral obligation to do better. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Where shall we go from there? Should we talk about Jeremy?
Yeah. Since that starts by talking about Jeremy, why don't you jump in with what you have about Jeremy, and I know have Jeremy stuff too.
Yeah, so I know Jeremy's like going through it, obviously, just like kind of reconciling with a few things. But as mad as he is at Elena, like I do recall that a few episodes back, he was telling Anna that he's glad the memories are gone, like as it pertains to Vicky and not wanting to remember her in that way of like wanting to hurt him. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like it's really weird that he's now like doubling, tripling down on this fact with Elena. And we did talk about it, I think, in our spoiler episode last week. We talked about it because we wanted to talk about it more here, like in the episode proper for today. But I don't know. He has every right to be upset for his memories being compromised. I'm not trying to like eliminate that, but I think you were the one that said him being able to forgive Anna for stuff that she's done or being more forgiving in other ways. But then it's like for his own sister, he can't like find it in himself to forgive her, even when he's talking to Anna, seems originally okay with the change.
Yeah. And also he forgives Anna before like Anna's mom's been killed or any of that. And like he knows Elena just found out she's adopted.
Yeah.
Like she has some really big things happening, and it's not an excuse for all of it.
Yeah.
And I disagree with Elena making the choice for Jeremy.
Yeah.
Because consent is important. And so I'm not explaining that away, but also how can you explain it away for Anna or like see, oh, well, I was just trying to like get my mom back. Well, Elena's not only like you, Jeremy, lost your parents not that long ago, but now the entire thing she believed about herself is not true.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just a lot there. And so to not really give her any grace is a little tough. Like he doesn't need to forgive her right away. And he might, like, I think we said that earlier in the episode today. He doesn't have to forgive her. He can still like have feel like that's a line that you cross that can't be uncrossed. But
Mhm.
we can also try to think about it a little bit more from Elena's perspective, her experiences, what's going on with him and them together as siblings. But yeah, so just a lot there for that.
Yeah. And my next kind of Jeremy thing actually really is a Damon thing, but Jeremy's just kind of looped into it because
do we want to
of
go
their conversation. So I think that's fine.
Yeah,
to
that's
go
fine.
There.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can go there.
All right. So it's pretty clear that Damon's humanity switch is on / turned back on. From his conversation with Jeremy, do we think that he just recently turned it back on? Has it been off? And we've talked about this a little bit, but has it been off this entire season leading up to now, or has he been pretending it was off? I'm thinking about what Rick said to Damon in episode 21 about him being a dick who kills people, but there's still humanity in him.
Like, was it when no, because I was gonna be like, maybe the like latter half of season 1, like since their road trip, but like but no, no, because he was doing horrible shit
because
before then.
He makes Elena go into the tomb and then leaves her. So
That's
is
also
his humanity on them?
Yeah, I don't know.
And if it is, further reason to say fuck him.
Yeah, I think we need. Hey, listen, listeners, if you have any thoughts on this, definitely email us or DM us online, because honestly, I couldn't tell you when he put it back on. But I guess maybe recently,
or it's always been on, because I think you can make the. And I know he tells us that it was off for a long time, but if he is so focused on getting Catherine, that's coming from humanity.
Yeah.
That's coming from love / obsession. So I don't understand, because if he had it off, he wouldn't have this whole plan to get Catherine out. He wouldn't be trying to ruin his brother's life. Like, anything he would be trying to do to Stefan is because he doesn't give a fuck, not because he hates his brother.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And like, we will see, this is not a spoiler, we will see as the show goes on what it does, more so like clearly what it looks like when a vampire's humanity is turned off. But like, I just feel like I can logic all day that it's probably been on the whole time, as long as we're seeing him.
Yeah, I think that that's true. Yeah, it's probably been on, but he's still making bad choices. I guess it's like your humanity being on doesn't, or at least in terms of vampires, doesn't negate them doing bad things. They just feel bad for doing the bad things that they do, right?
Right. And he says to Rick that, or is it to Rick? No, he says to Stefan, like, guilt is there, grief is there if I want to feel it. And so I think knowing that, having that awareness means that your humanity's turned on. But he also says the problem with his brother is that Stefan wants to feel all of the things in humanity, right? But a vampire's impulse is to not feel.
Yeah.
So maybe Damon just primarily exists in the space of like, his emotions are turned on, but he's really leaning into his vampire nature of like not processing things.
Yeah. That feels right. And I mean, and I think even when he tells Stefan at the end of the one episode, well, I guess in episode 20, when he's like, those are his feelings that he has, they're his feelings that he gets to feel. And I think you were kind of touching on that. They're his feelings to feel bad about. Like, he can't hold the guilt that like of the things that Damon's done. Like, that's on him to feel those things, which I think further supports that he's had it all, has had it on longer than maybe we think.
Yeah.
Or we're led to think. Okay, so I guess we're like hovering around Damon. So I guess, do we want to like just get out our Damon grievances here?
So I will move into one that I think will take us more into like are probably what I imagine your notes are from what I looked, starting to talk more about like the love triangle aspect and all of that.
Yeah.
So the writers are really shoving the love triangle on us in these final 2 episodes. Obviously, there's been nods to it the whole season, and Brenna and I have been clocking all of the flirty moments between Elena. Do we feel like the trajectory makes sense, or do we feel like it's a little forced? I know we've talked a little bit about this earlier in the episode.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Damon's character seems to do like a true 180 in this episode in particular, in just the way he's acting, or since he was outed last episode by Isobel about being in love with Elena, he's a lot softer than he's been, and and even though he's been on better behavior objectively for I would say, if we were breaking the season as a whole into two parts, it's the that mid-season break. I think part 1 he was more antagonistic, he was more of a true villain, occupying a villainous space, whereas then post that, in second part of season 1, he's starting to do some more redeemable things. He's starting to act a little bit, and he's done a few nice things here and there, but this is where it really starts. But this episode in particular, he's thanking Bonnie. He's trying to help Jeremy. He's offering to hold Elena's garments. That's not actually Elena, even though he just puts it down on the fucking porch.
He's terrible to his brother.
He's bad to Stefan, so he's still doing that because
he's flirting with Elena.
He's still flirting with Elena. It's just an openly flirting now because she's calling it out, and now he's oh, what do you mean? So it's I don't know. And then also him saying that he wants to save the town, and being I found myself wanting to save it. And I'm did you though? I feel most of the stuff. So my one thing that I said is we would need a lot more of that build up to really believe that's what he wants, because as far as we understand, and tell me if you feel differently, I feel a lot of what Damon was doing was out of self-preservation. So he was trying to get the in the beginning, even as early as the Vicky debacle, is him trying to get the town off of their back for vampires by or Lexi, even actually, but killing Lexi to get the vampire thing off their back. Then when Stefan's having his blood issues, he's trying to get the council off their back so that they're flying under the radar. So he's doing it from a selfish place, but then he's but I want to save the town. But I'm do you though, or do you just want yourself? And he even says it in the what is it in the last episode? Or is it this episode when he says he likes being a undead guy? That's last episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know. He does a lot of stuff selfishly. And also does good deeds selfishly, I think, to get Elena's attention.
Yeah. And I also feel if he really was that concerned with saving the town, the only thing we really see him do in this episode is he tells Rick what's happening, tells him to go with the stakes, and he fills in Stefan and Elena and tells Stefan to get Elena out of there. That's it. Then he goes to John for that very confusing scene.
Yeah.
And, he could have been using that time to try to help people.
Yeah.
Or do something, or find those vampires.
Right.
I just...
Unclear.
I
think we need more from him. I think there's a little bit of clunkiness into where they want Damon to be right now. They're trying to iron that out in real time. And look, I love Damon, and there are so many things to come that, we'll keep examining and talking about Damon in future seasons. I'm still a Damon lover. I love Damon so much, but I think it's a little confusing. And I think the more we've been watching this show under a critical eye, we're just lovingly poking at the logic.
Right. Yeah, so. Absolutely. I have a couple more Damon things. So and Elena's and Stefan are wrapped into them. I appreciate Elena telling Damon to quit flirting and telling Stefan he has nothing to worry about. The latter scene really gets me because Stefan is just so sad and in some ways already seems defeated. As he says to Elena, he knows what trouble his brother can cause. And I just really feel for him because he's had a rough go of it lately / in general this season. And Elena has been the only bright spot in all of that. He doesn't have friends, really,
And the only one that he had, Damon killed.
Right. His best friend was killed. He comes back to this town. He's had no one for all of this time. He meets this girl. He falls in love with her. There's all of their back and forth. He has to deal with all of the hazing he gets from the football players and all of the stuff with his brother. And then he gets kidnapped and tortured because of his brother and, has his whole blood relapse and is just starting to come out of that. Yeah. And maybe it's part of it's because he's been through literally hell and back that he's okay, for real, we can't do this.
Yeah.
But he deserves to be happy and not have to just constantly worry if history is going to repeat itself. And I just have issues with it. And then I'm going to move into a real hot take that I'm sure some people who love Damon are going to be like, what? But also he's not really kissing Elena. He's kissing Catherine.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fucked that Damon kisses, quote unquote, Elena here. Stefan literally just risked his life to save Damon's. And he's recently had conversations with both Stefan and Elena about Stefan's concerns. Your brother does not deserve this kind of behavior or treatment, Damon. Just saying. You can't keep harping on Catherine picking you both in the past and you hating him for that if you are actively trying to make Elena do the same in the present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think on her own, Elena would be flirting with him.
Right. Like she's responding to the flirting.
She's genuinely in love with Stefan, and Damon is weaseling his way in there. And it doesn't mean that her behavior is excusable, because it's not. But like, this whole love triangle is only happening because Damon is trying to make it happen. Right. And I'm like, but you can't then hate your brother for something that happened 145 years ago when you were humans, and you still can't agree who was with her first, but you know who was with Elena first here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you know what? I'm just thinking about this because as Elena also responds to frickin' Matt's flirting. So she's a reactive flirt. She's a reactive flirt. Like if someone's going to flirt at her, she will flirt back. Which is tough.
This girl.
It's tough.
Do you have any other Damon stuff?
Let me see. I do have some Damon stuff. Well, it's kind of mostly Catherine stuff.
Well, why don't we start talking about Catherine, and then any Damon stuff can pop up.
So one thing I want to call out, this might be a fun way to set up like the Catherine and Elena of it all. So something I noticed upon my final rewatch of this episode is that it starts out with Elena cosplaying Catherine in a way. And it ends with Catherine cosplaying Elena. And
that is fun.
I think that has to be intentional by the writers and the showrunners to have that be kind of a thing, because it's the concept of it's literally what the show is about, because what originally attracts, the brothers back to Mystic Falls is Catherine. And while Stefan does fall in love with Elena for who Elena is, but like the draw of like, because he was back doing his whatever regular visit that he was doing to Mystic Falls, and he sees
Uncle Nephew Zach.
Yeah, to see Uncle Cousin Nephew Zach. Rest in peace. Good thing we're calling him out one more time in season 1, because I'm not sure how many other times we'll be
the ghost of Uncle Cousin Nephew Zach.
The ghosts, all the ghosts. Ooh. I like can't. Oh my god, Uncle Cousin Nephew. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Stefan. The reason why Stefan comes back is to do his like routine return to Mystic Falls. He sees Elena. She looks like Catherine. He has questions. He's the original person that has questions in the show. And then Damon obviously comes back, probably following Stefan, but also knowing that the comet is coming and that celestial event is going to lead to what his plans on opening the tomb to get Catherine out, yada, yada, yada. But it's all hinging around these two ladies that look exactly like each other. And so that circular way of the story for this particular episode is really fascinating. And I like it.
Yeah.
Nice touch.
Yeah, I love that. All right. Catherine is here. And I am so freaking excited. She's an icon from second one. I do think that it's really interesting that she chooses to reveal herself here with Uncle John, but also with Damon, because while he doesn't know it in this moment, he's going to figure out pretty quickly that he didn't just kill the girl he's been crushing on, but instead the one he's been crushing on for... Girl? Oh, jeez. Kiss the girl. Just kill the girl. All right. That he didn't kiss the girl he's been crushing on, but instead the one he's been crushing on for 146 years. Clearly, Catherine has been in the Gilbert home before because she knew her way around the kitchen.
Okay, I have a thought to this, but I want you to get out your thought before I respond.
I mean, initially, I think she's being invited in by Jenna for the first time, but then she seems to know where things are in the kitchen. So
I have thoughts. Yeah.
How long has she been impersonating Elena? And why is she choosing to reveal herself now? I mean, obviously she's trying to stir up some trouble.
Yeah.
But she chooses to immediately reveal herself to John. I know she's like hoping John's going to die.
Yeah.
But with Damon, how long does she really think realistically that the brothers are going to like grapple over that?
I mean, they're going to, I would imagine they're going to have to figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But yes, to your comment, like, I can see what you mean about her knowing her way around the kitchen. And my one, like, I guess, like, my headcanon is that maybe she has been stalking around the house. But because I think it would be so threatening if she was, like, already able to be in there. But there's a chance. There is definitely a chance that she could have already gotten access somehow. But I feel like the written words that Jenna says of, like, why don't you come in feels so intentional, like, just in scripting that I'm like, there's a valid case for that being the moment. However, there is definitely a chance and a potential that somebody let her in. But I'm just trying to think who would have done that and who would have said those words to her in that way as Elena.
She could have been sitting on the porch swing and Jenna could have found her and been like, why don't you come inside? It's cold out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So,
you know, because there's the one window over the sink, but otherwise there's not really windows around. So how's she peeking in and knowing where, like, or is she just guessing?
I think she might be, but she's also, like, to your other point about her, like, she's kind of like sauntering around the kitchen. She's kind of doing her little Catherine sway around the kitchen. Right, like, so maybe she's just looking around.
Right. I mean, I guess she could be like, she could walk in, like, after Jenna goes wherever Jenna goes to, which we'll talk about, and then is like, and then, like, here's John in the kitchen.
Yeah. Possibly. I don't know.
But who knows? Okay. I have some questions in regards to Catherine, besides, you know, why is she choosing now to reveal herself? Okay. Catherine is a vampire. Yes. Meaning she doesn't have a heartbeat.
Yes. I love this take.
Why doesn't Damon clock this? And he is our clockmaker.
He is our clockmaker. But also, I feel like this happens a lot in supernatural TV shows and like even in, you know, we just talked about Marvel stuff. I feel like the power scaling of like Marvel characters is always all over the place and to like fit the story. And I feel like these vampire abilities are also always in question because I'm like, how are they not hearing? So if they have this powerful hearing, how are they not hearing? Do they have to really be focusing to tap into that hearing? Do they always have a passive, like, good hearing? And then, like, so that's that. But, like, so if he also has that good hearing, he would hear that her heart's not beating.
Right. And even if Elena is excited, if Elena is nervous, her heart's going to be beating faster.
Exactly.
And they're this close. How is he not clocking that? Right. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Also, Damon has been obsessed with this woman for 146 years. Does he not remember what it's like to kiss Catherine? Because he doesn't know what it's like to kiss Elena.
No.
And you know what? Even though they look identical, they probably don't kiss the exact same.
They definitely don't kiss this. No way. There's no way they kiss the same.
So
Catherine's a professional.
Well, so I
don't know.
I know what it's like to kiss my husband.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But maybe it's been a long time. It's been a long time. 145 years. Or how many years is it? Is it 145 at this point? Yeah.
Well, he said something about 146 and maybe because it's 2010. No, 146. Maybe because it's been 100 now because we're in 2010.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, there are clear tells if you pay attention. And I know you have some notes to this effect too. So how she reacts to Jenna finding them, like, I don't think that's how Elena reacts. She's just like, hi.
Yeah. Like, and like, I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Like, Elena would be like, oh my God, like, Jenna, no.
She'd be so much more embarrassed.
The fact that she definitely seems a bit confused and like she's making it up as she goes, like with Damon, because she's surprised Damon's there. Okay, Elena would be surprised. But then like the way she kind of looks at him before she responds does not feel like Elena and doesn't feel like how Elena would react in those moments because she knows Damon.
Right. And also because she's like, well, maybe it is you. Yeah, like because he's opening his heart up, and maybe that's where they're trying to deceive us, where it's like this is Stefan, this is Damon's turn to being like, I wanted to save the town and da 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 da, and he's like waxing all over that and like talking about it, and she's just like, yeah, well maybe you are good, maybe,
which I think Elena would be like, well maybe you actually. Are good.
Yeah.
But like I already knew you were good.
Yeah, she would be like more assured of it, where I feel like the way that Catherine is like, she's kind of passively answering and in short sentences.
Yeah. So I think that's telling. I already talked about the way she carries herself in the kitchen. And also that she lets Uncle Daddy John say his piece based on earlier, right? The last scene was Elena trying to find out where Damon was and get into the building.
Yeah.
And so for her to kind of like give him the chance or the time of day to like say all of this about Isobel and himself, I don't believe that in this moment after the night that's happened. Yeah. But I will say with all of my questioning and ranting, I still truly love this iconic twist in TVD, even if for me it's not that surprising. But like this reveal and the moment that Catherine comes onto the scene is one of my favorite moments in the show, even if I can poke a lot of holes in it.
Yeah, I remember seeing this in real time and I was gobsmacked for sure in real time, like when this was on air. Just some more things about like Elena. Like Catherine is wearing a different outfit than Elena is. Like she's wearing a leather jacket. Elena's still wearing her long sleeved Henley. Just easily overseen because it's dark, but I'm sure that's an intentional choice. And I love that like Catherine sees the opportunity to like come by the Gilbert home when Elena and her are currently rocking similar hairstyles, because
she didn't have to do any extra
work.
She
didn't have to straighten her hair today. She could just wear her hair because like Catherine usually has curly hair. So
anytime we've seen her in the past, her hair's curly.
Like
you curled your hair in honor.
I did, in honor of Catherine being here. I did curl my hair. You can't even know it. You might not even know it's me because it's Catherine. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Is it Brenna or is it Catherine?
Is it Catherine? Who's to say? But yeah. So I just think that there's a lot of interesting things. And just my other Catherine comment is just to, echo yours. The twist is so good. And I mean, I already talked about how I feel like the kiss is steamy, so we don't need to like retread over that. But where do we want to go next in our thoughts?
I have a little bit about the questions about the town, and then some Bonnie stuff, and then like the cliffhanger of it all.
Yeah, the cliffhanger. I think we've gotten through all of mine.
Okay.
And my thing, I have stuff about the cliffhanger. Okay. So let's get into your final other ones.
Okay. So what do we think the town's official story is for all of these people that they're taking, these deputies are taking away during the fireworks? Like, there's no way no one notices what's happening. Like, people are being injected with something and dragged away. And also people are dropping and screaming.
Yeah.
So how do we think the council is spinning this story? Because we know historically members of the Founders Council love to spin their own story.
We hear in the episode that Elena says that, at least to explain away the fire at the office, is that there was some old wires that got messed up. Fine.
Maybe this is why Uncle John didn't want to sell it to Pearl, because he knew he was hoping she'd be burned inside with it. He just got to her sooner.
I think he wanted to use that building I do think he was trying to use that building the whole time, because it has a perfect view into the town square, and it's like a building he has access to then like round up the vampires and get them. I do think that that's true. However, this feels so, and guys, one more for the road. Buffy comp, Sunnydale. They do this shit all the time in Buffy, where like there's just like shit going wrong in the middle of downtown, and no one seems to. I feel like by the end of the show, like people do start to notice, but in the beginning, it's truly so yada yada away, and that's how it feels like this might be handled for our friends in Mystic Falls, because they're also just pretending not. They didn't notice Jeremy getting yanked by Damon, so maybe they're also not noticing that there are people writhing on the ground. Even though someone did say, "Is that the mayor?" Did you see like that one offline when the mayor drops?
Right. I don't.
Maybe they're like, "Oh no, people they have a bad stomach bug
And they're getting injected with something?
And they're getting an antibiotic.
I just don't.
Oh, it's really hard to spin.
You need the bunch of vampires to be compelling all these people, and you don't have that.
And you don't have that, so or you need a witch to maybe mind wipe people because
Well, speaking of witches, I want to talk about Bonnie.
Let's go.
So I love seeing Bonnie really step into her powers, and truly I've loved it just like you have this entire season, and I can't wait to see more in season 2. I love her. I know who I am now, but I also worry that this is a lot on her shoulders. She doesn't have Grams anymore to guide her as a witch, and after Emily so crudely possessed her body earlier in the season, I don't know if Bonnie would want some hands-on spiritual guidance from her ancestor, even though she's now using her spell book. I hope that Bonnie finds other witches or community to help, not just to teach her in the craft, but to help support her.
Yeah, I think it's important that she finds that as well, and I'm interested to see how it continues to unfold for her and her witching.
Mm-hmm.
I love Bonnie. Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier in the episode, but it's just been so cool to see her going from just lighting candles to lighting up stuff at the car wash to then now just fully being able to manipulate fire.
Wet and wild, Teak.
I can't. Matt. Oh, we don't have any notes about do we have notes about any of these guys for our final?
Well, I just have kind of in my overall about the cliffhanger aspect.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, this season finale is a real banger. So much is left dangling off of a cliff. Is Jeremy going to die and become a vampire? Is Caroline going to make it out of surgery? How is Tyler going to deal with the loss of his father and whatever else is happening to him? Is Uncle Daddy John going to survive his cat attack?
I love that.
What's going to happen with the love triangle that's been very firmly established between Elena and the Salvatore brothers?
We've got a lot. I mean, okay, so my kind of companion note to that is that my hot take is that there are too many cliffs being hung in this finale. There are too many. I think that we did wrap up mostly we'll go backwards to go forward. I think what we could probably say, and let me know if you feel differently. I feel like we did wrap up mostly what season 1 put forth, while giving us some jumping off points into season 2. I think they were successful in that. To the show's credit, back in the day when we only had short breaks in between seasons of television, I think leaving some cliffhangers is okay. I actually kind of hate a cliff. I don't love. I'm out. My hot take is I don't like cliffhangers. If I'm going to be watching a season of a show, I want everything to be stitched with what's to come. Peppered in there, but not it being well, now we have to wait all this time to figure out. And I mean, I don't know if my personal take on that is more formed nowadays where there are years in between new seasons of certain television series, or if it's just something that I prefer in my story. I like a completed story, and this feels very this just feels incomplete to me because there are just so many things left very open.
It's see in September.
Right. And I mean, it's only 4 months, so fine. Let people hang for a couple months and stew over it, theorize over it. But it still feels weird to me that there were that many. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also, another question is Elena going to finally meet Catherine?
Oh, yeah.
Is Catherine still in the kitchen with Uncle John when she hears the clattering?
I don't know. We're going to have to find out.
So
yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that in terms of the cliffhangers? How do you feel about, are you pro or against cliffhangers?
I can go either way. I am someone who I like things wrapped up. I like completed storylines, but I also am someone who really enjoys kind of more ambiguous endings. And so that some threads have could be interpreted in a couple of different ways or have, opportunity to go somewhere else. I like the cliffhanger in this case of what's going to happen with Catherine, John, and Elena.
Yes, I do like that one. Yeah.
Basically, I don't need any other cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I feel like that is fun, but what's it's just so much happening under one house right now.
Yeah.
It just feels like a lot. I also kind of feel like Jeremy deciding to try to become a vampire feels like a real pivot, even from the conversation he's having with Damon, where Damon says, life sucks as it is. Like, it just feels so dramatic. We talked about like Caroline having internal injuries and they're not sure if she's going to make it. That doesn't really seem to track. It's like, and I mean, you and I know where things are going. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I understand why some of it's happening.
Right.
And some things feel like whatever's going on with Tyler, I'm like, okay, well, obviously we're going to talk about that in season 2. I like
that. That's a thread that I like that's there. I'll give that one a thread that I enjoy.
And this, and this, and this, and this, and yeah, I think it's like 4 things too many.
Yeah, there's 4 things. And we know that the the Catherine thing we'll be figuring out, but the Caroline thing will also have some kind of resolution in season 2, in early season 2, but like it's just crazy that we don't even see her. Like we don't even see her. Like it's just that hospital scene.
Right.
And she's one of our main characters.
And she's Miss Mystic Falls. And it's Founders Day.
I can't even believe it. How dare?
Do you think they let her wear her sash in surgery?
Probably not. But you know what? I hope that
maybe they hung it up so it's nearby.
Yeah, just for her to help pull her through. And also, like, I hope her hair is looking great. It probably does. But or she'll do it to make sure it's good even in the hospital. She's
going to do it so it looks like Vicky did in the hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
She's got to make it out. Well, she does make it out of surgery. I don't think that's a surprise considering Candace King is in the whole show.
Yeah, I don't think that's if you're vaguely familiar with the series, I think we can all guess Caroline won't be shuffling off this mortal coil quite after this episode. So
all right, so I think that's it for hot takes and final thoughts. Should we move into favorite lines from the episode?
Let's go. Let's do it. Oh my gosh. Okay, who wants to go first? Do you want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
Hello, John. Goodbye, John.
Love. Okay, I had to. Couldn't help it. All right, so this is. Here are my 2. Okay, we have. You made out with his mother and then you beat him to a pulp. You're gonna have to do a little better than sorry. Caroline, we love her. Or my other favorite one was, I'm a vampire. What's your excuse?
That was my other favorite one, but the Catherine one is...
Yeah, I mean, it's iconic. I'm glad you picked it.
Amazing.
All right. Fuck, marry, kill.
All right, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I'm fucking Catherine.
Okay, yes.
I'm so excited she's here.
Yeah.
And honestly, she chops off fingers in a hot way.
She does.
So, and I'm here for it. So I'm fucking her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm marrying Stefan.
Of course.
I mean,
is there anyone else?
I'm wearing my Stefan shirt. Well, you know what? I'll have to go back to my tally, but I do marry Stefan and Caroline almost like they're the 2 I marry the most, and I've married them almost the exact same amount of times at this point in the season. And I was thinking about her. I believe I married her in episode 21. And of course, I want her to get through surgery and everything, but Stefan needs to know.
Yeah.
It needs to be proved to him that he has nothing to worry about. I'm his girl through and through. And how could I not end the season marrying him? But I will say we, in the last episode, got a great Damon ab count. And why didn't I get to see Stefan shirtless on Founders Day?
How rude.
That's how I want to celebrate. They could even just do it as he's getting dressed at the beginning. Puts this little cravat on over his abs. Over those sculpted pecs. Give it to me.
Truly.
And then I really struggled. I don't always think about this in advance, but I did for today. And I was like, who am I going to kill? Because, everybody dies, right? Mayor Lockwood is dead. All the tomb vampires are dead. Anna's dead. Those are a lot of the characters I've been killing. And then, Jeremy is dying. Caroline is potentially dying. Uncle John is dying. Did I forget anyone else who's potentially dying?
There's a lot of people on the chopping block.
There's a lot of people
projected on
right,
the
and so
chopping block.
I don't want to kick anyone when they're down. So there's 2 ways I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
One is to pick Damon,
of course,
because I'm mad about how the writers are shifting him and that it doesn't make sense, but also that he would kiss his brother's girl after all of this. And And just some of his other behavior that we've talked about. So that's one. And then I also liked how in episode 21 you killed like a storyline.
Yes.
And so I was kind of thinking about that. And you killed the Tomb Vampire storyline. And now I'm forgetting what storyline I wanted to kill.
Did you want to kill?
Oh, wait. I remember what I'm going to kill. It's not a storyline. It's a thing. It's an object. So I am going to kill Damon / I'm killing the football team's float. Their poor excuse for a float. I'm just wiping that out of the face.
Fuck that. Caroline does not approve of that float.
No one approves. And I love how like Carol Lockwood's like, let's give a round of applause. And I feel like she has to do that because no one's clapping for that.
No.
So I kill that and I'm going to, shoot that into wherever with Damon on it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What about you?
Oh, man. Okay, this is tough. It's tough out here for all of us. I am going to fuck Catherine, too. I mean, she's fuckable. I was thinking about potentially fucking Damon because, once again, very steamy scene of him kissing another person. That isn't me. But Catherine's bringing that heat. She's here. She's sexy. Definitely want to fuck her. I'm going to marry. I think I'm gonna marry Caroline because I will be as close as the hospital staff will let me into that surgery room, even though I am happy that both Tyler and Matt are in there supporting our girl along with the sheriff. But I want to be, because I'll be there in the room trying to do some protective magic over Caroline so that she makes it out.
Thank you so much.
As a good wife would, obviously.
Of course.
So that leaves who I'm killing. And as you said, there's not a lot to choose. There are, sure, I could see your case for Damon. I don't really want to kill Damon, though. I want to kill... I know you don't want to kill people when people are down, so I'm trying to skirt around that.
I said that. You don't have to follow that.
Well, it's tough. I mean, I'm gonna kill Uncle Daddy, even though I know that he's not confirmed dead to me at this point, even though he did get plunged, but we don't know. But you know what? I support the woman I'm fucking in buddy. Killing support my fuck buddy in killing this man.
Her cat attack.
I support the cat attack. So I think I will do Uncle John just because I'm gonna say we don't know if he's actually dead yet.
He's definitely in the process of bleeding out.
Potentially. Though. But you know what? Not confirmed dead. So therefore on the table.
Okay. Great.
And also just for all the problems that he caused in this entire snafu is really the reasoning behind that.
Fair. I just love him too much.
That's fair. Okay. I think that's a wrap for today.
Oh my God. We did do it.
This might be a longer episode. I don't know. I have no idea. But all right.
As a reminder, you can follow us online. It's very fun over there. And even though we are going on our little break, right, for just a few weeks before season 2 starts on September 8th, we will still have plenty of content. So our online presence will continue to be present and fun. So please join us over at Hello Sister Podcast on Instagram and Threads. Or if you'd like to write us an email, you can do so at hellosisterpodcast1864@gmail.com.
Yes. And as always, thank you, Christina, for not letting me burn in a basement alongside vervained vampires.
You're welcome.
And as always, a huge thank you to Alex and Dwight for all their hard work and support. Y'all, I cannot, I know we always thank them in every episode, but I need you to understand how much we appreciate both Alex and Dwight's. Dwight has really done, Alex does a lot for us for graphics. Mm-hmm. Dwight, the clips that you see every week, and also he does cut and edit our episodes. Mm-hmm. He's been, and he also wrangles us like a stage mom when we're here at home when we're doing that. And I just want to, call out that, like, because like it just he even got us like a little wrap gift today of
He
a
did.
little
Very
notebook, just
sweet.
like a little
Very
producer.
sweet.
Like he's done a lot and put a lot of really a lot of hours, and I know we put in a lot of hours of time, and Alex puts in a lot of hours of time, but I would say like Dwight has put in quite a bit, and
Absolutely.
I think sometimes our off-screen partners don't always get the like flowers that, I mean, we thank them, but like our graphics wouldn't look as good if Alex wasn't doing them. You know what I mean? Look at this snatched logo. That's Alex. Our logos and everything that looks visual, that's Alex.
Mhm.
Dwight, anything video, sound, Dwight.
Yeah.
And then we do everything else. But you know, but
It's huge.
But it's huge. It's a
Yeah.
lot. And so we just are so grateful to have supportive like husbands and partners that want to like help us do this project.
Yes.
So
Definitely. And of course, thank you, Brenna, for not kissing my girl right after I saved your life from that fire.
wouldn't never.
And thank you for listening and watching. Hello, sister. We will see you very soon.
See you soon. Bye. Hello Sister is written, directed, and hosted by Christina Rosso-Schneider and Brenna Dinon. Graphic designs are by Alex Schneider. Music is written and produced by Dwight Evan Young. Sound design and video are recorded and produced by Dwight Evan Young and Brenna Dinon. Hello Sister Podcast is a Bad Day Media production. And dramatically close our thing so we can see our t-shirts. See you later. Bye.